Gather round, freaks. The cartoons have taken over. Bugs meets Mickey. Roger loves Goofy. Tinkerbell meets Porky. The gang is all here. November comes to a close, but first we have to traverse Toontown and use our imagination. So gather around the Toontown radio because it's time for Who Framed. Hey, did you see this one? Hey, what's up, all you human beings on Earth? It's Thursday night. So you know what that means? It's time for another rebel-rousing edition of Hey, Did You See This One? This is episode 208, and November is coming to a close. So we are talking, of course, about Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I'm fine. My light's
Pay
not
no
on.
attention to the men behind the curtain. This, of course, is the show where we take a movie, pull it apart, leave no stone unturned, and talk about every element until there's no more elements to talk about it. And then we have to ask the question at the end, hey, did you see this one? I am, of course, your first co-host, Who Framed Jason R. Phillips, joined as always by Stephen Boba Blackfly Waters.
Meh. That's me, see? Meh.
And returning to the show, well, actually, for the first time, really, B. Dolly, aka the 1-to-1 representation of Jessica Rabbit. Please welcome B. Dolly back to the show. He's having a malfunction of the light crashing down and taking over the with it. Awesome.
Excellent job. Your costume is amazing.
Thank you.
You're dressed as Roger Rabbit, right? No?
Yes,
No,
let's go with that.
Very good.
I actually have, because I did an Elvira Jessica Rabbit mashup.
Oh, cool.
So I made a little,
Like a goth Roger.
yeah, to look like Elvira's poodle.
Oh, yeah. That's great. So we even have a Roger Rabbit this week.
I even have a little goth.
So you're saying
Roger
if we
Rabbit
do
in
the
it.
Elvira movie, you'll come on the show dressed as Elvira. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Noted.
If you have me in a movie where I have a cosplay of it, I'm going to come to the show dressed in that cosplay.
I mean, even for Snakes on a Plane, you came dressed as Medusa, which is pretty fucking cool. If I remember correctly.
I thought you were more dressed as a snake, as I recall.
Sort of, yeah.
Cool. Well, we've covered all the stuff at the top, I think. Hold on a second here. I'm getting a message. Nope, that's not the message I'm getting.
Oh, the message.
Oh, look at that. Actually, I'll just give you a little bit of so last week I forgot to play this video, so here it is.
Hey Jason, hey Steve, just hanging out here in the ceiling. I just remembered you guys got a podcast coming up, 207 episodes. You know, I got a lot of time to reflect up here, and I hope one day, honestly, I can accomplish something to the magnitude that you guys have to make 207 episodes of the podcast. Obviously, something completely different is what I want to accomplish, but I hope that it's the magnitude, you know? Anyways, love you.
Love you.
That's how me and Alex always say bye to each other. Love you. Love you.
Love you. Well, we might hear from him again later in the show for 208.
Alex is the king of a subtle dig.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want to
feel
accomplish something completely different, but you know.
personally attacked. 208 episodes is a lot, guys. Especially doing it every single week without fail. Look out for our definitely
Even
not
when you have
pre-recorded
COVID,
Christmas episode.
Even when you break your legs, even when you're
Yeah.
dying, even when your back is thrown out, you can't move really.
One time you were asleep for the whole show, I think.
Yeah, that happened one time. One time I took NyQuil, like a bunch of NyQuil right before, and I don't remember the episode, but it was funny. It was pretty funny.
Yep. Yep, that's true. Well, we should get into our first segment of the show, which is, of course, the synopsis.
The synopsis?
Brief
Oh, wrong.
synopsis?
I almost said the wrong synopsis.
Zardoz speaks to you. He demands you synopsize this film. Tell him how, why, who, what occurs in this film.
You didn't click it the last couple of weeks, so I was ready. And then anyway, this is the
This
segment
guy's
of the
got
show-
no finesse with his clicks over here. I'll tell you, it
I
drives
know.
me nuts.
Sorry about that. It wouldn't be hated to see this one without some technical difficulties. Steve, will you give us a brief synopsis of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, please?
Oh, why, certainly. So this movie is about a rabbit and a detective who have to team up to solve a murder. But it's way more than that, because initially Detective Eddie Valiant is hired in order to prove that Roger Rabbit, who is on a downslope from his acting career because of the stress of problems with his wife, he is hired to prove that she is in fact cheating on him, Jessica Rabbit, who we have with us today on the show. She is cheating technically, but we find out much later that it was actually blackmail that was causing the cheating to begin with. But the person that she is cheating on with, Acme, the man who owns the Acme studio and all of Toontown, is murdered. He has a safe dropped on his head. And the movie basically takes a turn where people are hunting for Roger Rabbit for the murder of Mr. Acme. But Detective Valiant knows for a fact that Roger is innocent and is doing everything in his power in order to solve the crime of the missing will of Acme, which will essentially give all of Toontown to the Toons who live in it, whereas there's another company that's trying to buy Toontown for the highest bid at midnight. So there's a ticking clock element in the movie where they have to find the will before midnight in order for Toontown to be in possession of the Toons that live there. And then there's a bunch of other stuff that we'll talk about when we get to the main chunk of the body of the episode, but that's more or less what happens in the movie. Right, guys? Right?
Yeah.
Confirm. Oh, I was going to do
confirm.
the please. I can't do it. Terrible.
Yeah, that's perfect. Can you do a Roger Rabbit? Do you have it? Did you
I can
figure
do it, but it's extremely embarrassing and I don't want to. So maybe
same,
it'll...
same.
Okay. Well, maybe I've got some wine here, so maybe by the time we're halfway through the episode, I might be able to slip into it naturally. But there was a D&D arc where I had them go into like a cartoon world. They went into like a painting, and every biome of the painting world was like a different style of painting. So there's like a very traditional painterly area, and then there was like a cartoon world where they went into, and there's a character who basically was Roger Rabbit, and he was their companion for a time, and I was killing it. I was killing the voice, guys. I was doing a great job, a real great job.
Side note, you would be so much fun to play D&D with.
I mean, people tell me I am.
He's a great DM for sure, and a great player too. I assume if you're great at being a DM, great at all of it. I can
One of my
confirm
current
the
DMs is
DM.
writing
though.
a book, and he told me recently that like the chapters that are my character is the only character that has like an internal monologue, because like the way I played the game was so impactful, but like I never really like gave a lot away. It was all pure action. And so like he's writing it from, because we've talked a lot about it and like what his thought process were. Anyway, I think that I'm pretty good. My current character, Brand, he rules. He's so good. He's good. He's a torturer. He's also a doctor. It's cool. Yeah, what are we talking about? Roger Rabbit? Okay, let's talk about Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, we should talk about our brief histories with the movie.
Our brief histories, you know? A brief history!
That was finesse there. I did it great. That's right. This is the segment of the show where we open our drinks, we crack our beers, we drink our juice or whatever you like to drink.
Our dip.
Yeah, we drink our dip and melt our cartoon faces off of our bodies. And sort of just
What is
run
dip
down
made of again? It's turpentine.
turpentine, benzene, and acetone.
Acetone, yeah.
Yeah. When he's running around in it at the end, I'm like, that's got to be terrible for you to be ankle deep.
Even as a
Benzene.
human, it's bad. Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
"Ugh." Acetone will melt your shoes. Yeah.
Exactly. But B, let's start with you. You're literally dressed as Jessica Rabbit, but what's your history with this movie?
So I saw this movie when I was, I think, 14 or 15. And the instant Jessica Rabbit came on, like, classic bisexual dilemma of, oh, this awakens something in me. Do I want her? Or do I want to be her? And the answer is yes, obviously. And then, I don't know, I love the blending of animation and real world stuff so much that I even really liked Cool World. But and then more recently, brief history was I was literally just in LA and staying on my friend's couch, who is a cartoonist and a bit of a cartoon historian. And he, not knowing that I was going to be on this, gave me a full history of like the books and the rights and how they're now going back to the original writer of the books and how the books are so different. And then I bought the books and read them on the plane. And that's where I am right now.
Yeah, I mean, as we were talking before the show started, I knew it was based in a book, but I've never read the books, and I read through like the first paragraph of the plot synopsis, and I was like, this sounds interesting. This sounds like it's maybe more interesting than the movie we're going to talk about, but I might have to check it out. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool.
Awesome. Cool, Steve. How about you?
The first time I watched this movie, I was being babysat by one of my mom's friends who was like a unmarried woman who lived in the forest and only had one movie that wasn't like a movie for an adult woman. You know, like she's like, I have Roger Rabbit, and we were like my sister was like barely old enough to speak, and I was, you know, just like bumbling around like, well, I'm tired, I can't be outside anymore, my allergies are hurting me. So they're like, we got to do something to entertain this kid. And like I was asking questions like, where's your husband? Why don't you have children? You know, like questions, really rude questions a child would ask.
Well, you said she's an unmarried woman who lives in the forest, right? She probably has children in her oven.
Yeah.
Was the house made of gingerbread?
So like candy?
Yeah.
Or was it on chicken legs?
She lived.
Was she the Baba Yaga?
Okay, I get what you guys are doing. She wasn't the Baba Yaga. She was a very nice lady. She also lived with a man, but like he would, like anytime I was there, he would like leave. Like I think he just was really uncomfortable by children, and I was like kind of a nosy kid who would like ask a bunch of probing questions. He's probably like, I have no patience to deal with this kid. I'm gonna go over to the shed and just like work on some wood. Tell him it's dangerous in there, and it was. They were right. Telling me it was dangerous in there made me too scared to go close. I was like, oh God, I don't want to go near danger. Anyway, so the first time I watched this movie, I was probably a little bit too young to watch it. This movie, I'd say, is probably more for like kids closing in on like 10, you know, like middle school age, because it's, even though it's got a lot of cutesy stuff in it that you're familiar with, it is chock full of fucking innuendo, inappropriate language, very unsettling visuals, tension that is palpable to the point that a little kid is going to get legitimately freaked out. And I remember being very unnerved by this, but also I thought this witch was so fucking cool that I didn't want her to know that I was scared, so I was pretending to not be scared. But I'm sure that this movie created a lot of nightmare fuel for me for years to come. But that's the first time I watched it, and I've watched it a handful of times over the course of my life. And I think that in terms of like a piece of film history and like an artifact that needs to be preserved as something that's very important to film, this movie is kind of like one of the crown jewels of movie making. And it's good, but I have a lot of problems with it, but at the same time I do like it, and I've watched it tons of times in my life. But it is one of those ones that like sometimes I forget the nuances of the story, but I never forget the visuals. Everything is, when I watch it, it's almost like it's the first time I watched it, but at the same time, it's all burned into my brain forever, so I'm never going to forget any of it. And that's the first time I watched the movie. Jason, your turn.
Sorry, I was checking something for my brief history, because for me, I watched this movie At some point when I was a kid, but I don't think I made it all the way through the movie. All I remember is that opening cartoon bit, and then when it switches over to like live action. But my memory is that I saw it in theaters, which would have been impossible because I was 3 years old when this came out.
That's not impossible.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have like the, cognitive function to remember something like that. But I do remember going to see Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in theaters. And what's interesting about that is they showed a Roger Rabbit short before the movie. So I might have had a bit of a splicey in my brain getting those two things confused. But what's interesting is I would watch this movie again for real in like that era that I was talking about earlier, of Fritz the Cat and Meet the Feebles in high school era when we, sit around getting stoned with your friends and watching the classics.
You say that like we all know what you're talking about.
You guys didn't have that. I thought that was a pretty universal experience.
I didn't sit around watching Fritz the Cat while stoned with my friends in high school. No.
Okay, fair enough.
For me, it wasn't high school. It was my early 20s, and I didn't watch Fritz the Cat. I watched Undergrads and Clone High.
For me, it was COVID. I got high and watched every weird thing that I was too scared to watch when I was young.
But I have seen this movie in the past, but I think that my main memory is seeing Roger Rabbit on a theater screen before Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Fun fact about that movie, when they start kissing, I couldn't handle it for some reason, and I had to leave. The aunt didn't freak me out. Maybe the aunt did freak me out, but they kiss, and I didn't know how to process that. And I was like, we got to go, parents. So I was a weird kid. But that said, that's my brief history with this movie. I watched it this week, and I was blown away. The transfer on Disney in like Super HD somehow looks incredible. I thought the movie actually came out later. I was surprised to learn that it was 1988. I thought it was like 1992 based on how good the movie looks. But yeah, that's that, I suppose. Should we talk about production for this film?
Fine.
All right. Quiet on set. Are we rolling? Okay, let's shoot this piece of shit. Sound. Speed. Action!
All right. This movie is made by the most famous director of them all, Robert Zemeckis. Well, maybe not the most famous director of them all, but he's definitely up there with your Spielbergs and your George Lucases and your Nolans, and he's a pretty household name for people of our generation. Basically, any movie that you thought Steven Spielberg or you mistakenly said Spielberg directed that, it was usually Zemeckis that actually directed it. He's made some of, I think we've only done one of his movies on this podcast in the past. Castaway, I think, is the only one.
Castaway?
Yeah.
Very different movie.
Very different movie, not as horny.
Not as horny, almost as horny.
It is still pretty horny. Yeah, you're right. Zemeckis is a notoriously horny director. Like every movie that he ever makes is just kind of dripping with horny energy. And this one is no exception. Maybe one of his horniest. Yeah. Considering it's a movie with cartoon characters that are meant to be lovable and for children, this movie has a lot of sex. Innuendo, some of it not even innuendo, some of it just straight up like sexual assault at times. And you're like, gee whiz, this baby's horny. But, it was a different time.
Technically, he's 50.
Technically, he's 50, but he's still a baby. He plays a baby on TV. But he's like literally talking about his dick at one point where you're like, my God, this is crazy. This is insane.
Ironically, it's funny that you mentioned Robert Zemeckis because this movie was supposed to be made a couple of times before it actually did get made. And in 1982, Robert Zemeckis offered to be director. Disney declined because his two previous films, I Want to Hold Your Hand and Used Car, were box office bombs. So then in 1985, the project was revamped by Michael Eisner, and Amblin Entertainment, which was Frank Marshall, Kathleen Kennedy, and Steven Spielberg, were supposed to produce it alongside Disney. The original budget was
Amblin is Spielberg's production company,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
The original budget was projected at 50 million. And then Spielberg was supposed to have a ton of control. Terry Gilliam was also offered the chance to direct, but he found the project too technically challenging. So
Yeah, and I think
eventually
Lucas
they're
was
like, you know what, Zemeckis, fine.
Yeah, I mean, he directed one of the most successful movies ever made. I guess he can do it.
Yeah, and he's pretty well coming off of Back to the Future, so his name is top of the list for probably a lot of projects coming out of Hollywood at the time, right?
Yeah, and he also had all of these really powerful friends, right? Like Kathleen Kennedy and Steven Spielberg aside, which are obviously two of the most powerful people in Hollywood, even at that time. Not to mention now, but like George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola and, you know, all these people, Scorsese, like they're all friends, right? Like they all went to film school together and they worked together in their early days, and they all helped each other. They helped each other with technology that didn't exist yet. This movie is one of the ones that like pioneered a bunch of techniques that didn't even exist really. And like, it is a crazy undertaking. Like, it's not the first time that animation and live action have shared a stage or whatever, but not in this way, where with like unique and dynamic camera angles and like floating props and having to interact with things that aren't there. It's crazy because like it's all painted on, right?
A $70 million budget in 1987 is wild. Like the amount of there's a reason why they never really did this again at this level, because they just it's not feasible, you know.
Space Jam, anyone? But anyway, like
that's like later, and also he uses computers more.
Yes, I know. I was being a little bit facetious, but it's
cool.
difficult.
Does exist, I know.
But like, you know, the
scenes sorry.
I was gonna say like the scenes where there's like a floating gun, where it's like clearly a floating gun that they've got a prop moving around, and like they have to paint in a character around it. Like all of that is like so unique, and the vibe is so strange. This is what I was talking about when it was like unsettling. Like that kind of stuff is unsettling to me, because like your mind knows what it's doing as an adult, but as a kid it just looks fucking weird. Like it's almost like everything's a ghost. Like I'm seeing a real life ghost captured on camera or something, you know?
Or even like Dr. Doom's painted on Professor, whatever his name is, Judge Doom's painted on eyes at the end. That whole sequence probably screwed up a bunch of kids, you know? Like I remember seeing that for the first time in my teens and being like, this is a kid's movie? What the fuck?
Go ahead, B.
Do you guys know who the first and second choice for playing Eddie Valiant were?
I'd like to know.
I'm gonna say like Dustin Hoffman and Jack Nicholson.
get Al Pacino in there as Valiant.
Harrison Ford was number one, but he cost too much. Second choice was Chevy Chase.
Nope.
He was not interested. Eddie Murphy reportedly turned down the role as well, which he is now kicking himself for.
Was that on his list of movies that he said recently that he wish he hadn't turned down? Because I know he regrets turning down Ghostbusters.
Yeah. He said he misunderstood the concept of toons and humans coexisting. And he elaborated this year. It sounded ridiculous to me, and I passed on it. And afterwards, I was like, oh, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, like, imagine reading this concept on paper and being like, what the fuck? Like, I'm going to be a cartoon, or what is this? Is it voiceover? Like, I can't imagine not understanding in hindsight, you know, like what having nothing like this exist before, like trying to piece together what it would be in your mind, being like, this sounds fucking dumb, and it's probably going to look like Tron or some shit.
Yeah.
Not. I'm not a Tron hater.
Voice actor, this sounds like heaven.
Yes.
And actually, notably, the one person who really wanted to be Roger Rabbit was Pee Wee Herman himself, Paul Reubens. Man,
that would have been good. I mean, the guy who does Roger Rabbit
actually did a voice test for it, but the role was eventually given to Charles Fleischer.
Yeah, and Charles Fleischer. There's like a pretty good documentary about this movie that I've seen at least once. I think I might have seen it twice, but I don't remember like the major details of like, let's talk about how they did every single thing in the movie. But I remember him specifically, like he would come to set and he would wear the clothing that Roger
Yes,
Rabbit would wear.
He
Yeah.
came to set dressed like Roger Rabbit, even wearing the ears.
Yeah, and he would just do everything, and like he didn't need to do that. Like all he needed to do was stand off camera and like do the lines, you know. Be like,
Yeah.
come on, Eddie. Like he didn't have to be like bouncing around like a maniac, but
He fully committed.
yeah, it probably helped with Hoskins' performance a little bit too. But
I will
back to your
say,
point about who would turned it down and who they wanted. I don't like. I can't imagine anyone other than Hoskins in it like being as good because he does.
he's like
have-
a short guy, you know, so he can meet the eye line of Roger really well. The other
and then
people
also
that you
just
mentioned are
just
tall.
that like level of height is like it's like not to be rude, but it's almost cartoonish in its own right, where it's like
Right.
he is sort of like comedically short compared to the rest of the actors in this movie, where it's like everybody is looking down at him constantly all the time, and he's got such a explosive and like huge attitude, and he also like roughs people up, and you see him shirtless at one point, and you're like, this guy looks like he could just barrel through you. Like he looks like he's made of pure muscle.
Do you think Danny DeVito would work in this role? Because I kind of do.
I mean, they're basically the same. It would just be a different voice.
Danny DeVito is British Bob Hoskins. You heard it.
They're
You heard
both
it
like
here.
men built like barrels, like a
Yeah.
wheelbarrow man, covered in hair.
Threk made a good point here. This was kind of Chevy Chase's peak era. So if there was one time when Chevy Chase could play it, I don't, we find out in retrospect that he was kind of an asshole, but I don't think people knew. There was no like,
Yeah,
dirt
but he probably
sheets.
saw this as like beneath him, right? Like he would see something
True,
like this and be
yeah.
like, I'm not doing that shit.
I'm going to do 3 more vacation movies for National Lampoons.
I'm gonna do Invisible Man.
Goddamn garbage.
So
Well,
speaking
this-
of voice actors, she was uncredited, but the voice of Jessica Rabbit was the great Kathleen Turner, and she was
Interesting.
brought along by Zemeckis. And her characterization were inspired by Rita Hayworth, Veronica Lake with the peekaboo hairstyle over the eye, and then Lauren Bacall.
I wonder why she was
The
uncredited.
ultimate male fantasy drawn by a cartoonist.
Yeah.
And it's clearly like, now that I'm putting that together, it's clearly her. I was like, who is, I recognize this voice. And
I knew it was her, but I didn't realize she was uncredited. I mean, I didn't really read the credits at the end, but I wonder why she was uncredited.
I don't know. The reason she did it was because she was pregnant at the time and just had to show up and do a voice.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's like, this is great.
She does also have like a great sort of sultry voice, right? Like
She does.
it's so intense, and it's like it's like attractive, but it's also powerful, and it's also like mysterious. Like it's got everything that you need from like this type of character. And when you mention like the ultimate male fantasy drawn as a cartoon, I'm like, this is Robert Zemeckis's ultimate male fantasy. If you see like any animated movie, there's always a woman with enormous breasts, and like they're always part of the character. You know, they're never just there. There's always someone that has to interact with them in some way. Like one of the
Enormous
funniest.
breasts and a rack to waist ratio that would
That's
make
impossible. Yeah.
what's his name? The creator of Deadpool. The one that came
Rob Liefeld.
Rob Liefeld, yeah. It would make Rob Liefeld cream in his jeans.
Yeah. That guy, he just drew hourglasses.
I think
And
of
then
it as
put
like
It's on them? Yeah.
you know, like Stephen Hawking's like black hole sort of like diagram of what a black hole does. That's what I think of when I think of the waist ratio. Not even an hourglass; it's like a black hole figure. Yeah, but I mean, like the gags are, like when he bends down to pick his pants up, and then he like hits his head on her breasts on the way up, like boing, and it makes like a crazy like boing, and he's like, oh pardon me, sorry.
I think my favorite was the booby trap.
The booby.
Yeah.
Nice booby.
I have been trying to figure out a way to realistically do that for years.
Oh, I wonder if there's like a paper craft way you could do it. Like something that you could fold into something small and then pull it out that
I
it like
don't know.
expands. I've got a guy. I've got a paper craft guy. I'll talk to him, see if we can figure
I've got a paper craft
Put
guy.
a little bear trap in my cleave. Like, I don't care how it happens. It just needs to happen.
Listen,
You
we
could paint
spent
it
4
on.
years. We spent 4 years figuring out how to like turn 25 puzzles worth of stuff into like 8 grams of paper that would expand into things. We can figure out a bear trap that you can stick in your tits.
Oh yeah, you do literally have a guy.
I'm not even joking when I say that. I'm telling the truth. I never lie.
So Judge Doom, Christopher Lloyd was fantastic. Tim Curry auditioned for the role, but was turned down because he was too terrifying.
Yeah. I
Wow.
mean, listen, when you play the devil in Legend and you're that scary, when you
Right.
play it and you're that
And
scary,
It. Oh my gosh, that first scene in It, terrifying.
Yeah.
Christopher Lee was also considered for the role, but he turned it down. I like how Tim Curry is too terrifying, but Christopher Lee was like, that man in real life was terrifying.
yeah.
He was once on set, and he famously said something like, that's not how it sounds when you stab a man in the back, and then described how it sounds.
It was to
because
Peter
he-
Jackson in The Lord of the Rings. 'Cause
Yeah.
Peter
I was
Jackson was
thinking
like,
about
okay, so
the-
you're going to get stabbed in the back, and I want you to just go, ah! And he's like, Peter, do you know what it sounds like to stab a man in the back? And Peter Jackson was
Right.
like, no, I don't. And he's like, well, I do. And it sounds
I
like
was-
the wind is escaping you and it will never return. It's like,
I was thinking about what a Terry Gilliam version of this would look like basically this whole time, and I feel like it would be darker, and I think you would need a Tim Curry or a
Right.
I
Or
think Christopher
Saruman.
Lloyd is terrifying as
Oh, he's so good in it.
fuck in this movie. Like, I feel like they probably were like, that's too scary, this is perfect. And then when Christopher Lloyd showed up and they put that fucking line of definition on him to make him look more Reaperish and the glasses, and it's
And
like,
the
no,
nose.
he's also terrifying. Like, all of them
Yeah.
would be terrifying.
And the one that wasn't terrifying enough and got rejected for not being terrifying enough was John Cleese.
Oh.
Also considered for the
Okay.
role were Peter O'Toole, Roddy McDowell, and Sting.
Sting. Oh my god.
Sting might
Sting.
work actually.
Hot off a dune.
Yeah, hot off a dune.
In his little cod piece.
Yeah. Hot off of Doom and Codpiece were both nicknames for me in high school.
Heyo.
So I think that John Cleese, I've never really seen him in a scary role, so that would be kind of interesting, like, but he is tall and domineering, and like it would be kind of cool. But
I think it
he
would
is
have been
sort of-
similar.
he's also very naturally goofy. Like, everything about him is like the straight edge nature of him is what adds to his funniness. So I don't know. I think
That's right.
Christopher Lloyd was amazing though.
I think
He's
he was a
also
good choice.
He's got such a weird voice as well. It's like, it's just his natural voice is kind of strange. Like, like it's like this raspiness to it that no matter the performance, it's always there, right? So it must
And
be.
Robert Zemeckis just worked with him a few years previous, so he knew what to do to get
Right.
the
And
performance out of him. So
Christopher Lloyd is a very cartoonish person.
yes,
Yeah.
Even now in the Nobody movies, he's shown back up as Nobody's dad, and he's like the ex-military guy, and he's just like senile, hilarious. Never lost a step, can still act, and he's like 90. So Christopher Lloyd.
Remember when he was randomly in that one episode of The Mandalorian? And you're just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? What are you doing here?
I guess he's still working. That's how whenever he shows up and stuff, I'm like, I guess he's, he never really went away.
I also love that they got some of the original voice actors for a lot of these cartoons on
Yeah.
the show. Like they got Mel Blanc,
Mhm.
famously
There's
the
so
voice,
many. Yeah.
Bugs Bunny and Daffy and all of that.
I did actually go through the credits. I just didn't notice that Kathleen Turner wasn't credited, but I was watching with Danny and I was just like, let's see it. Let's count how many Mel Blancs there are. And then I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, maybe we just stop counting. There's so many. But yeah, he did a ton. But you can also, I wasn't, I was watching for those voices just because I wanted to be like, how many voice actors can I recognize? Because I've started to like really sort of like deep dive into voice actors, trying to be one myself. I'm like, I should learn about all these folks that are super successful and see what their trajectory was and what they did to get started. But you can even hear a bunch that I didn't see, right? So like Disney has a lot of crossover with Fox, so you're hearing a ton of the Simpsons voice actors. They're all over this, but you don't, the Simpsons I think just started or hasn't started quite yet. It's the same year maybe.
I think it's still on the that TV show.
It would have been
Tracy Ullman show.
Ullman, that's it.
But it would have been probably recording around the same period, so they're probably just like getting random voices and stuff. But then there's the dude who does all the, like he's like one of Disney's most famous voice actors, which is what's his name? The guy who does like Winnie the Pooh and stuff like
that. Guy I thought was
he's one of the Bullets for sure, but I think he's a couple of other voices as well.
Yeah, I think he has a.
I should know his name. Why don't I know his name? I should memorize his name. I should say a prayer to him every night before I go to bed.
Truly,
like, please,
especially with your newfound fame. Someday you're gonna have this portfolio of like a bunch of cartoons and video games and stuff in a similar way. People are gonna be like, "Oh, that's clearly Stephen Waters."
Oh man, my dream. No, it's not my dream. I just want to do it because it's fun and I love it.
So it's funny that you guys mention before,
Jim Cummings. Jim Cummings. Oh, Von Aether got to it right before I did.
There we go.
Yes, it's we've mentioned now a couple of times how scandalous this was for Disney, and actually the Disney CEO and vice president didn't want to put it out. Michael Eisner and Roy Disney were like, the film's too risque, there's too many adult references, that's not going to happen. And then Zemeckis was like, fuck you, I have final cut privileges, and that's why I got put out under Touchstone.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I don't think thought was going to happen, because this is a very toned down version of the book.
Yeah.
Like the source material, there's not much you could do with making this PG. Like they already toned it down.
I was going to ask you if you could talk about the book a little bit and kind of the differences in the story during this segment, because I'm interested to.
From what I've read, Roger Rabbit is murdered within the first fucking
Yes, he is. Yeah. He is. He's actually murdered, and the whole thing is solving his murder. So basically, what happens is Roger comes to the detective and is like, "Hey, someone's after me. There's a conspiracy against me. Someone's trying to kill me." And basically what happened, it goes into that. But at first it's like, hey, I'm hiring you because I work at this studio. I play second banana to the baby. And the two brothers running the studio have promised that I will get my own show, or I'll get my own strip, and they're not giving me my own strip. So, and, they stole my wife. Okay. So he goes to the brothers and he's like, hey, this is being said. And the brothers are like, look, he's a good second banana. Nobody else wants him, because he was also saying they won't let me out of my contract. And there's a rumor that somebody wants to buy me out and have me do my own thing. And the brothers are like, that never happened. And yes, Jessica left him because she doesn't like him. And they go to Jessica, and Jessica's like, yeah, the dude's a loser. And I didn't get him, like, he didn't have that job. And then he met Jessica, who he stole from one of the brothers. And, sorry, this is the ADHD convoluted thing. And then when he stole Jessica, one of the brothers gave him the role. So he was making a lot of money. But he wanted his own thing. Jessica left him for the brother again. And then he started to say, hey, someone's trying to kill me. And as it turns out, what happened was he had a genie, because he does get shot. And then it's trying to solve this murder. And he had a genie, and he was doing this little sing-song that he sang, and that happened to be like the genie's waking call. And without realizing it, he was making these wishes. So that's how he got the job, and that's how he got Jessica. So Jessica was with him like against her will, basically. And then things started to fall apart, and then he was going to actually kill the brothers. I think they both died. One of them definitely did die, and it was Roger. And the genie shot him.
The genie did it. Oh my
The genie did it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was.
Spoiler alerts for Who Censored Roger Rabbit, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, and the reason it's called Who Censored Roger Rabbit is because he has a little speech bubble that's like after he died, they found the speech bubble that's like, they censored me, and that's what it was.
It's almost like, from what I understand, it's like he doesn't speak normally. He speaks like Wile E. Coyote almost, but like they just like appear when he's talking, like you would on.
Yeah, basically.
Which would be so weird to try and do in a movie. Like I couldn't imagine how they would do it.
I was just thinking about that. It's very like literary to have it be comic,
but also as like a device, like a narrative device or a plot device, like having the thing exist, like his last words exist next to his corpse as like a speech bubble. That's like a really cool concept.
Well, they have it so that Toons can't drink, so they drink moonshine, and when they do, they have little like steam that comes out of their ears and everything. Like it's really, really well written. And
just
then
kind of represented in the movie with him taking the shot and then exploding, and then they use that as a thing.
I don't want any, Eddie. You do. I don't.
You do.
You do. I don't. You do.
I don't. I do. I do.
So actually, Roger killed one of the brothers, and he realized that Rocco's murder was Roger. Rocco was one of the brothers in the studio. And they could generate doppelgangers, which was basically a copy of themselves, and that's what they would use in dangerous scenes because they could absorb their doppelgangers. So he made a doppelganger, and he killed Rocco, and he intended to plant the murder weapon at Valiant's office to frame him, but he was shot by the genie when he accidentally summoned it. And then Valiant holds the genie over a saltwater fish tank, which is the closest to the dip that you get. The genie is forced to grant a wish made by Valiant for proof of Roger's innocence, which is provided in the form of a suicide note from Dominic, the other brother who died, confessing to both Roger and Rocco's murders. Not trusting the genie to keep his word of letting him go, and also knowing that no one would believe him about the genie, he drops the genie's lamp in the fish tank, and the salt water dissolves the genie.
Oh my god!
So,
well, I guess I don't need to read the book anymore. Damn.
The genie's kind of like the talking car. I see a parallel there a little bit.
It's still worth reading.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds insane. I want to know how they explain going like the humans interacting with the cartoons on a comic strip. It sounds like there's a lot of work explaining that has to go in to make it make sense.
In a book to explain.
Because instead of his girlfriend, there is a photographer who takes
instead of Dolores. Instead of Dolores.
Yeah, instead of Dolores, there is a woman who is a photographer who photographs all of the comic strips.
Okay. So you can.
That's why Dolores has the camera in the movie, I guess.
I mean, the only reason she has the camera in the movie is so that he can use a camera. But I guess that's maybe like a nod to the book, being like, well,
that's what I mean. That's
the main character. Yeah.
The parallel. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Definitely read that. I think I might have to read it.
You know how to read? Just kidding.
No, I'm putting on airs for the podcast.
That's okay. The audiobook is free on Audible.
There you go.
I know how to listen.
The book itself was only like $4 on Kindle. So
nice.
Okay, well, I guess I don't really have anything else with production talk other than the movie made a shitload of money, but
yeah, it worldwide gross of like 350 million, domestic gross of like 150 or 170. Pretty big production. I wanted to just touch quickly on the fact that like Steven Spielberg, I guess, brokered this deal between Warner Brothers and Disney to basically, and Disney was like, only if they have equal screen time, and that's why we have those scenes of like, Bugs and Mickey at the same time, because they're kind of like parallels to each other in their respective universes. And what this reminded me of is, remember DC versus Marvel, kind of a short-lived comic series in the 90s? Well, that was a similar thing where like they couldn't really have either or, win or lose. They just kind of came to it. Yeah, thanks, Threk. I'm going to touch on this. I was going to ask you guys about, so what ended up happening is all these DC and Marvel characters had fights, great comics, but then they became the amalgam comics where they combined. So you had like Batman and Wolverine became Dark Claw. Yeah. Spider-Boy, Superboy, and Spider-Man combined forces. And I was thinking, out of all of the combinations we saw in this movie, did you guys have any ideas for like a combination of two kind of parallel characters? Because I was like, Mickey Bunny obviously is one.
I mean, I got this idea for like Donald Duck or Daffy Duck.
Daphnold Duck?
Daphnold Duck. It was interesting to see Tinkerbell. I always almost say Twinkerbell, but Tinkerbell and Porky do have sort of the same role.
Porky Bell?
Porky Bell?
Tinker Pig could be good. I don't know. No, I didn't until now. Now my brain is...
That would just look like Miss Piggy, I feel, in like a little green dress.
Yeah.
I feel like that is Miss Piggy because she needs attention or she'll die.
True.
And she also has unrequited love for a man who really likes to wear green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally a felt frog.
Yeah. It is an interesting. It is an interesting. Kind of like. I feel like it's almost to the benefit of the movie. The fact that they had to do that, like they.
Yes.
I feel like that maybe like the dueling pianos might not have been a thing had they not had to have done that, and like that moment where Bugs Bunny and Mickey are falling is like my favorite moment in the entire movie because it makes me laugh so hard when Mickey Mouse says like, "Oh yeah, you could die." Like I love the fact that he's like, "You could be dead." Like it's such a morbid thing for Mickey Mouse to say. God, love it.
All the Kingdom Hearts.
Maybe it was for the benefit of the movie, in my opinion.
All the Disney Kingdom Hearts characters are represented in this movie really in a really funny way. Like Goofy is like the most famous, but also has this torrid past. He had to get off by the Valiant Brothers. And Roger fucking loves him.
It was almost like this weird never mind. It was almost this weird moment where like I was like, this is so strange that I'm seeing this on the day that, like right before I'm about to watch Roger Rabbit, and it's a guy who's talking about how like that scene at the end where they're like being lowered down, Roger and Jessica, and Jessica says, "Even better than Goofy," and he's like, "Really?" And this guy took that moment, and he broke it down. And he's like, "So this means that Jessica Rabbit has in fact dated Goofy in the past, which will explain for Goofy's string of girlfriends, and it's all redheads." And then it's like, and also Max's string of girlfriends, all redheads. And it leads me to believe that Max is in fact the illegitimate daughter or son of Jessica Rabbit and Goofy. And yeah, there we go. Someone else seems to have the same theory going on, which I thought was funny. I don't know if I believe it, but I like to believe it. Why not? I believe.
Why not? If you're gonna believe some theory crafted nonsense from a cartoon universe,
yeah. If you're gonna,
that's a good one.
To put Miss Piggy and Tinkerbell into a fly teleportation machine and see what comes out the other end. Then
Porky Pig,
Prickly Pig,
to become
Twinkle Pig.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad we got to play that little game. I had it later in my notes, but I'm glad that we got to play it because I would like to move on to.
I also forgot entirely about Amalgam Comics. Like, fully forgot about. My brain refuses to hang on to information. Like
deleted it.
My brain refuses to delete it. I fully plan to do a cosplay group. I have all the Amalgam Comics.
Yeah, same.
Like, there must be tons and tons of them, right? Like where they did it.
No,
there's a limited run.
There was a super short run of the fights, and there was like a story why they had to fight, and then they did a short run of like I think there was 8 comics, and they were all like
been,
number
like,
the
a
number
world.
one
Okay.
for each.
I feel like my question got lost in the explanation, but it's fine. We'll move on. We're moving on. I demand we move on.
I'm ready. I'm ready with the body of the episode.
Oh, the body?
Ho, 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 ho! Everybody back up, because here comes the body of the episode.
That's
I mean,
right.
I feel like right now I'm the body of the episode.
Hey, I wasn't going to say it.
I did it for you because it's not misogyny if I do it myself.
That's true. We
Yeah.
didn't ask you to do this.
If we do Cool Worlds, well, you'll have to do that cosplay, I suppose.
I have it.
Cool.
And are you going to
is
dress as
not-
Tammy? Spoilers for Christmas. Are you going to be Tammy? I guess that's just kind of 80s.
No, you should dress as the T-Rex.
I
please.
was going to say I'm going to be the T-Rex.
Yeah.
I'll dress
I'm
as
the
the
slutty nurse. I'll
Yeah.
probably do the slutty nurse.
okay. I'll dress as the brain at the end. The brain.
Amazing.
I'm going to watch that movie through the context of it being in the video game High on Life. You just watch the whole movie on a TV in the game.
It's so weird.
Very weird. Before Justin Roiland went insane. Listen, this is the segment of the show where we kind of break down the movie and we talk about the beat by beat of it all. I'm going to start us off by saying, somebody's at the door.
Steve and Jason, what's this I hear about you guys doing 208 episodes now of the podcast? Last week, Jason told me it was 207, and now it's 208. I can't believe it. Keep it up, guys. You're doing it. Oh.
Oh, love a good.
He's the
unscripted moment.
funniest guy, like just effortlessly. There's no way you're gonna play the cat coming in and just says, "Oh,
No, he had the cat. And he squeezed it just to see if it would.
oh man,
Oh,
who knows? Who knows?" Yeah. So essentially, the movie starts off with what's my first note here? It's a cartoon. It's a maroon cartoon.
I knew every beat of this movie, so I can just go through it if you want.
It's time for you to show us how it's done.
All right, so we get a big, giant pair of legs being like, "Okay, little baby Herman, it's time for you to go for your nap, and your babysitter's here, and your babysitter's going to take great care of you." Those giant legs with like the pantyhose line on it. Where you're like, already Zemeckis is putting his perversions into this fucking film.
But also,
He's like,
that's
no, legs got to have a
Tom and Jerry.
pantyhose line. They're not sexy unless there's a pantyhose line on it. And the baby is just goo-gooing, gagaing, and then Roger starts going off about how good he is as a babysitter. And we get basically a cute, it's almost like an animated short that you would see at the beginning of any movie. They sort of restarted doing these at the beginning of Pixar movies in the late 90s and early 2000s. But this is something that a lot of in early era cinema. Like even regular movies would have a cartoon that played beforehand.
Literally at the time, I think the next year is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and a Roger Rabbit cartoon.
Well, that was probably also like a marketing ploy for them to advertise for this movie, right?
Maybe it was the same year. In fact, yeah, that's a good point. I'm gonna actually look that up.
If it was a Roger Rabbit cartoon, because Roger Rabbit didn't exist as a Disney property before this movie, so it must have been something.
It was the next year. Yeah, like I said, 1989 was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Anyway, it's cool that they decided to do that, but also integrate it into the movie itself as not just like a fun cartoon that is separate from the storytelling of the movie, but also leads directly into the movie. It's very violent, and it's almost like on par with like a Ren and Stimpy or something, the level of violence
Yeah.
you're seeing.
To be fair, Tom and Jerry was that violent. There were
Yeah,
frying
but,
pans
there's something- okay, so-
manipulating their head into the shape of a frying pan.
What I mean to say is the violence is heightened because of the animation
Right.
refinement, the detail, the sound design, as well as like the pain that you can see in Roger's face, and like it's such a high quality level of detail in the animation that it makes it feel 10 times more violent than anything you've ever seen before.
I found the animation to be very, very clean and, like you said, detailed, but like every little movement for this opening segment specifically is very detailed. I
But
thought
even
it was
like this is where the offsetting stuff or offsettling stuff starts with me is like there's even when he's like counting his fingers off, there's something almost like too human about his hands that make it almost like frightening. Like you can see his knuckles and stuff, and they're like maybe a little bit too long. They're not big and chunky and cute like Mickey Mouse's hands. They're like long and like they're
Uncanny
freaky.
Valley.
Yeah, it's like it's too human. You're already getting a little bit uncomfortable with this character, Roger. And like the knives and stuff, they're so detailed and sharp, and like the sound design of like the light going across the blade. You're like, okay, this is purposefully everything looks far more dangerous than it should, but you can feel the danger. And then it ends with Roger Rabbit being absolutely destroyed, and then they have to cut because he summons the wrong thing around his head when he has the fridge dropped on top of his head, right? They want stars.
He's supposed to have stars.
Yeah, but he did birds.
And then they're like, he's like, I can take 100 more fridge drops. And the director's like, I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the fridge.
I'm worried about the fridge. Which is a funny little like kind of throwaway joke because later in the movie he gets bashed over the head. He's like, I got the stars, but what's happening doesn't really matter. They kind of gloss over it.
Well, the point is that his mind is right now.
Yeah,
he was having performance anxiety. Remember when he's like, "Come on, I can get you still a thing," and he's like, and he keeps hitting himself, and everything that pops up is
not a star. Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, when all of his problems are finally solved, the stars appear, which is like, that's the resolution. You know that the character he's got his mojo back. If this was an Austin Powers movie, he got his mojo back. You can do the stars unprompted. But yeah, it's setting up, the fact that Roger Rabbit is not able to perform. We've got some sort of performance anxiety happening on set. His ability to act in the sense that a cartoon acts, which is to manifest godlike abilities, to have birds be summoned around your head, is not what the director wanted. I wanted stars. It's in the script, Roger. It says stars. And then you also get like the brief glimpse into her baby Herman, who's like, "What the heck's wrong?" And it's like, "Nothing's wrong with you, Herman. You're perfect. It's Roger. He fucked it up again." And then this baby goes underneath somebody's dress and sticks his fucking finger right up her dress, which is disgusting. You're like, "Oh my god, this pervert."
I really enjoy like when it switches to real world, the background of that like kitchen becomes real, which I thought was really cool. And they do this a couple times where like Bob Hoskins like pulls the cartoon gun out, and when he's going down that like alleyway, the gun is like real in his hand from afar.
Well, okay, so
it's
animated. My theory about that is that like it's probably super duper expensive for them to animate that gun, and they're like, let's just paint it so it looks animated and people won't notice. Because when I was a kid, I did not notice that gun wasn't animated the entire time it existed. But obviously, as an adult now, you're like, oh, it's like a rubber thing that he has that's painted to look animated.
But probably the same for the kitchen too, because if they kept it animated on this side of the screen, it might have been too expensive.
But also, this is like you're saying a way for them to show us a transition that's interesting, where it's like the fridge lands, it opens, it's animated, and then it's like cut, and it cuts back, and everything is like it's glossy and shiny and very brightly colored. But then it pulls out, and your mind is like, this looks different than what I was just looking at. And you're like, oh, this is all real now. And then in the background, you see a guy on stilts with like the big fucking pantyhose legs, like you're like walking around. You're like, okay, this is great. But yeah, I think it's like a really interesting and good way to just set up the world that we're being introduced to. Because this movie does not in any way really try to explain a history in which cartoons and human beings exist on the same plane of existence. It's just reality here, and we're meant to accept it, and they're not really going to spend a lot of time explaining it. They'll explain little bits of detail here and there to show you characters' individual histories with this world, but they're not like relying on a bunch of expository dialogue to be like, and then the Toon dimension opened and they all poured through. It's just like, no, Toons have always been here since the beginning of time. Which I appreciate, because it's like that's like shows trust in your audience to be like they'll get it. Like we don't need to. Doesn't need to be like a portal that they go through. It's just like no, he goes through a tunnel and he's in Toontown. That's where the Toons live for the most part.
Where the Toons live.
Yeah.
Takes place in like 1947 or something too. So that's how in my head it's explained away. Like back then, you know, before the freeways and the billboards and the gas stations, the Toons and the humans lived together, and that's all you need to know. Because in our universe, the freeways and the billboards, I can see a freeway, a billboard, and a gas station from where I'm sitting. You know, so
Yeah,
they
in
took
our world,
over.
the Toons live in the
Judge
air.
Doom won
They
on
live
Earth.
in the grid with
Yeah,
Jeff Bridges and fucking.
Tron's really just
Yeah.
in your brain tonight.
Well, I mean, that's where everybody lives. The grid. Jeff Bridges and Jared Leto, they all live there together in harmony.
I like this comment.
Somehow Mickey returned.
Yeah.
The grid.
Eddie Valiant shows up. He's investigating something.
He has a meeting with Maroon from Maroon Cartoon.
Okay, Maroon.
And he goes to Maroon's office, and Maroon is in the midst of basically sweating out one of his editors to be like, no, don't you know anything about cartoons? And Eddie Valiant is there, and he charges him a very reasonable rate, but he's like, this is highway robbery. Even though we don't know what highways are yet, because a freeway hasn't been built. But he wants to charge him $100 to do like some pretty dangerous sleuthing.
Plus expenses.
Which I don't even know what that like. Give me booze, I guess is what that means.
Well, that's the thing about this Eddie Valiant character. Like, well, we're gonna find out soon that he's had a tragedy in his life. His brother passed, but at this point, he's just drinking and hating Toons. But still, he is like the private detective to the stars, the Toon Stars. Which
he's the
kind of find out
go-to. So
throughout the movie.
him and his brother
Yeah.
were basically private detectives that specialized in Toon crimes, and they did it because they liked Toontown. They're like, we thought it was great. We loved working with the Toons. They were our friends, and they're always funny. And then a Toon fucking killed my brother. But
This movie has a like a civil rights sort of underline
Yes.
feeling to it, almost like the X-Men kind of have like that sort of us
Yes.
versus them appeal, which I never would have picked up on as a kid, obviously, but I also never really thought about it like that until the way the movie's broken down is like, you know, a Toon killed my brother, so I hate them, you know, and the Toons are kind of exiled to their place and the humans live in their place, but when they have to combine.
I mean that's very specific to Eddie, but like even just the fact that like the Toons don't own their own town, that's owned by like a very rich white man, and like he's like, but I want to give the Toontown back to the Toons that built it up, and you know, like, but there is another person that's trying to take over, and also they're used for entertainment to entertain the rest of the country. It's like they're just there as caricatures, right? Because they're literal caricatures. But yeah,
It'd be interesting to see like a little bit more explanation and origin for the Toons, because it could be like an indigenous
no.
thing
No,
where no. Okay.
You're getting
am I overthinking it?
I think you are. Yeah, I think the allegory is there.
But
and
they
it's
had
appropriate.
a bullet that was an Indian.
That was the most egregious part of the whole movie. I would say.
I don't think it was about the
think-
bullet of the indigenous.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think the movie is doing that, but it's also just playing with it. It's not trying to make the entirety of the movie about that, but it is something that you can read into, and you could probably write like a big long dissertation about it if you really wanted to, because it's all there and it is utilizing it in an interesting way. But at the same time, like most of that is played through like Toons. Like the first time you see Eddie Valiant, that's the first line he says is he takes a big swig of whiskey as he's seeing Roger smash himself in the face with a frying pan. He just goes, Toons. I hate them.
There is an interesting real world parallel during all of this opening sequence when he meets up with RK Maroon, where he's like, we just signed the deal to have the Fantasia tunes come over and work for us, which feels very much like, you know, getting the Disney IPs into this movie.
They literally say that. I worked out a deal with Disney. We got Dumbo on loan. The best part about it is he works for peanuts, and then he throws peanuts out the window.
And Dumbo's just like fluttering outside the window, which I thought was really funny.
This is the moment that I remembered specifically, is where I was first very unsettled by this movie as a child, is when Dumbo flies away and then Eddie looks out the window and like there's a bunch of humans and like a crate falls over and a bunch of instruments just pop out and start playing like dun, 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 and he's like, the humans are like freaking out and they're like trying to wrangle them back into the box, but they can't. And I'm like, oh my God, those people are scared of these tunes. And then you like start to see everything on the lot and all the humans are like, they're, you know, a lot of them are just like interacting with the tunes fine, but like there is like an underlying level where I'm like, these tunes are immortal. They cannot die, but they can kill humans. So they're kind of like gods to us.
Yeah.
Like we can die from them, but we can't do anything to them. We can run them over with our car and they'll just be like, look, my roadkill or whatever. And you'll be like, look, this is frightening.
They're using the brooms from Fantasia as like actual brooms while a guy is playing the Fantasia song at them to keep them going, which I thought was kind of unsettling also.
Indentured servitude.
Yeah.
But having seen Fantasia, I don't know that I would use the brooms from Fantasia.
As brooms.
I feel like it's only a matter of time before that goes bad.
Yeah. They will kill you. That's their whole thing. I mean, I have more to say about the unsettling nature of this movie, but that's like the moment when I was a kid where I'm like, oh, I remember being like, oh, this is kind of scary. I don't know if I like tunes and human beings interacting. It's kind of freaking me out. But it only grew from there. And you know, we get the job is agreed upon. He's going to get the $100 for his spying on Roger Rabbit's wife. And we get a little bit of explanation being like, the reason my actor is all fucked up is he's worried about his wife. So I want you to go spy on her and see if she's fucking meh. And then he tells him to go to the club, I think, to be able to find her.
The funny scene where he goes to try to get on the streetcar with the $50 check. And he's like, I'm not. Yeah, but then he jumps on the back. It's like nothing like LA fucking public transportation. And then the kids that jump on too are all like dirty and smoking cigarettes.
Well, the kids are like, "Hey, mister, why don't you got a car?" And he's like, "What do I need a car for? We got the best public transportation city in the world." Which I think LA is notoriously known for having one of the worst public transportation systems in the world.
Yeah. And then
which this movie is also weirdly heavy about. Like the movie is a lot about public transportation.
I didn't realize that it was all about keeping public transportation local. Like that's crazy that the villain of this movie wants to make a freeway
through all of it, through Toontown. He wants to just
to connect,
melt it all and be like
Hollywood to Pasadena.
Yeah. No one's gonna know if they're waving through their windows at billboards and all sorts of shit. They're not gonna care about tunes.
There'll be a gas station every 100 meters.
It is weird that Doom hates tunes because he is a tune, but I don't know. We'll talk about that, I guess.
I mean, self-hating.
How self-hating tune,
excuse me. I know you said tune, but anyway, sounds similar to another word.
Oh, cool that you pointed that out. Let's move on.
Valiant goes to the bar. It seems also like they're in sort of a recession situation or depression-y because everybody's bummed out. This bar is right next to the train that goes by, shakes the whole place every 5 minutes, it seems like.
Well, if it takes place in 1947, this would be right after World War II.
Yeah.
So this is when like there was a bit of a dip in, because like during the late 1930s, there was like a Hollywood boom, and it was specifically because it was essentially like a propaganda machine in order to bolster the American spirit, right? Because everybody was like, we're part of a war now. This is crazy, which like famously the Wizard of Oz was like designed and catered to like, how do we make everybody feel better? Let's make the craziest movie that ever existed, The Wizard of Oz. And it worked. It did its job.
I just want to say to Mike here, he didn't want to develop a high-speed rail for America. He wanted to build a freeway through Toontown.
Yep.
The high-speed rail is completely different compared to what
he
this
also wanted
Nightmare
to
Man
eliminate
wanted
an
to do.
entire population of people.
Yeah, with a soup of horrible chemicals, the worst way you could probably die.
And it was basically, his thing was like, yeah, we're going to build a freeway and then we're going to build some cheap motels. So it wasn't to help people, it was to make a profit.
Yeah.
To make a profit
He
off
wanted
his
to
own
know it.
people.
So he gets, the kids give him the cigarettes, which is, thanks for the cigarettes, kids, which is, again, you're like, holy shit, man, this movie. I think this was even around the time where they're like, we should probably stop having children smoke cigarettes in movies, right? Like, it's not a great thing.
The kid's literally smoking a cigarette, right?
I mean, I don't think you ever see a kid smoking one, but like they have them, and then he gets cigarettes from the kids when he hops off. Like, I don't know what he gave them, but I guess he just gave them a good story or whatever. And he was like, "Hey, kid, can I have a couple of them smokes?" And then he goes into his local watering hole. What's the bar called? I can't remember. You guys remember what the bar is called?
Oh, I can't remember.
No,
That's
that was not one of the things that stuck with me.
Yeah. Oh well. But it's a bar that's right next to like the train tracks. So like every once in a while the train goes by and everything rattles. It's got a lot of character, this place. And it's also full of characters, which is kind of fun too. Like every time he goes in there, there's like the guy who's got one arm. There's like the weird bully man with like a toupee, and then there's like, a collection of other characters there. But he's mostly there to promise to pay off his tab, and then also to beg for a cameras because he needs to take pictures of the adultery. And I guess it's his girlfriend. Like, it's kind of like ambiguous at first, but like
it reminds me of Dick Tracy. How
yeah, but Dick
they're,
Tracy
like,
was a little bit more
together,
clear
but-
that they were dating because they would go to
Yeah.
dinner together, and like she kept talking about like, are you ever gonna settle down, Dick? He's like, this Dick is never gonna settle down.
But it's also kind of like Hard Boiled and his girlfriend too.
Yeah, I guess. I think that's one of the staples
like a
of
trope.
noir and hard-boiled stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, he's married to the job. But he gets the camera, and then she mentions later, like, I never even developed the film since our vacation to Kokomo or whatever, wherever the hell they went. And
I think it was Hawaii. Yeah.
I guess I don't remember, but it's just inferring that like, oh, there's a shared past there, but we still don't really know what's going on yet. But then we get the club scene right after this. He goes to start up his
Right
job.
before that, though, we find out that Atoon killed Valiant's brother with a piano to the head.
Oh yeah, he force feeds a hard-boiled egg,
Also,
hard-boiled, to
Heyo.
a guy who's like kind of his friend. You find out later, like they're not like, I guess maybe they get drunk and get into fights every once in a while, but they're sort of compadres, I suppose. But yeah, he kicks the stool out from under him and then force feeds him an egg. He's like, "What's his problem?" And he's like, "Atoon killed his brother. Dropped the piano."
Also, you
on his
keep
head.
antagonizing him relentlessly for no reason.
Dropped the piano on his head, which is very funny, like a very funny moment in the movie. It's one of those ones that like sticks with me every time. I'm always waiting for it. I'm like, drop the piano on his head, because that's what a way to go, but also exactly the way Atoon would kill you or try to kill you at least. But then later when he's describing, he's like, he dropped the piano on us from 15 stories up. I got a broken arm, but my brother didn't make it. And you're like, holy shit, that is dangerous. A falling piano.
Well, early in this movie, when they're showing that wide shot of the studio lot, I wrote in my notes that it's like, what are the rules here? Do humans have the same rules? You kind of already touched on it, Steven, but like,
I didn't. I touched on it during our conversation that isn't part of this podcast yet, but we had a
the
conversation.
thing is like
earlier.
it's definite that in the human world, the humans still have human rules because of the fact that
humans
a piano gets
can
dropped on a
die
man.
from tunes.
Yeah.
But tunes are like essentially immortal, until we're introduced to something a little bit later that can kill them. But when he's in Toontown, there's a bunch of shit happening to his body that you're like, that would kill you.
Yeah, he does cartoon shit in Toontown, so like it's like the magic and the rules change if a human goes into Toontown. But I also felt like there's like a certain amount you can take before you actually like die. You know, like
But
I don't think you could take as much punishment as a Toon in human world. I think that eventually you would.
I don't think
aspire.
that Toontown. Okay, I don't know, but I think the actual answer is they don't know either, and they don't give a fuck. Like they're just like this guy died, and deal with it. And then we wanted to have some fun with Eddie's body later, so we made him do some weird pancake shit. You're like, okay,
yeah.
well,
Mike, definitely watch it again because I don't know how long it's been since he saw it, but as an adult, it has a different context.
Well, I mean, the Toons can die as well because we see that kind of like at the end. If you make them laugh themselves to death,
But those
Yeah.
specific weasels.
I think the only weasel that died in that entire scene, like truly died, is the one that got knocked into the dip. The ones that are turning into little ghosts that fly into the air,
Yeah.
they're probably just going to Toontown and then like resurrect as their normal selves again.
They just come
That's-
back.
think
like a
so?
video, yeah, like a video game. Like you go to like a checkpoint or something. Like you lose all your experience, but you come back and you're like, what happened? I don't remember nothing.
They have Dark Souls rules.
Yeah. But if they go back, they can find a little glowing orb that will get them all their XP back and their memories.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is the club scene, like you were saying. I love that we're introduced to Betty Boop, who is antiquated and still in black and white, by the way.
I think it was because she never, like up to this point, I don't think she ever actually had a non-black and white cartoon. Because that was the point maybe that they're making.
I
But
don't think she ever has. Yeah, I think she's always been in black and white.
boop boop doo. I don't know. Who
Have you ever done a Betty Boop cosplay, B?
I have not because that character is canonically supposed to be black.
Right,
Hmm.
right. That's true. And also,
I didn't know
canonically,
that. So
like everything with her and Shirley Temple, all of that stuff is pretty messed up. as I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah,
that era.
that is a property I stay far away from.
Fair enough. Okay, I should have known. Why did
Jason,
I?
have you ever done a Betty Boop cosplay?
This is actually Betty Boop cosplay I'm doing right now.
Oh, you know what? I see it. You just had to tell me. Boop boop doo.
Okay. Hey, how did you guys feel about Daffy versus Donald? The battle of the
I
minds.
love this moment. I think it's one of my
It's so
That's
fucking
a
good.
fantastic moment.
It's so good.
Great song choice, great choice of characters, because classically both of those characters are sort of curmudgeon-y and like get upset very easily, and the fact that they pin them against each other is great, and the fact that they're both ducks is great. It's like, it's almost like the thing that I was talking about earlier, where like the amalgam was almost beneficial to the movie in ways that maybe they couldn't have foresaw while writing it. But they're like, what if we have a moment where it's just these two characters battling on piano, and they like literally start shooting at each other with cannon? Like when the cannon is coming up and you see Donald with the horns coming up, being like, you're like, okay, this is this is great.
And Daffy's hair turns into like Mozart hair while he's
Yeah.
playing, because that's like a classic Daffy Duck thing.
yeah, you get
They're,
so
I
intense
never
that you're-
realized how similar the characters are either. Like they both have weird speech impediments, and they're both like so fucking wacky.
It is funny
to-
that like Daffy is making fun of his speech impediment while also having a speech
Yeah.
impediment himself. I can't understand a thing this guy's saying. Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you guys, the caption on my TV said nitwit.
Jason, just skip
Okay.
this because it's been proven over and over again that it's not true, and
Okay,
I knew that you're going to
that's
bring
all
this up.
Marvin Acme is introduced, who is the mayor of Toontown, I guess, or the proprietor of Moontown, of
He's
Toontown.
the
But he
owner
also
of
is,
Toontown. It's like he's not really a mayor, but he's like, yeah,
Yeah,
owns
he
it.
owns it.
Yeah.
and he's there to see his number one gal, Jessica Rabbit. He also hits Valiant with a invisible ink and a hand buzzer.
Oh
and
man, imagine how much this would
and
piss
he-
you off though. If some
Yeah,
weird
if you
little
hate-
fucking cackling old man just like shot a bunch of ink all over you and was like, you'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?" And then, as you grab him, he's like, "Relax, it's disappearing ink." But it turns out like it's very important to the plot. But at the same time, I would still want to knock his block off. I feel like that's a thing a Toon would say, right? I'm gonna knock your block off, old man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Whiskey
yeah.
on the rocks, and I mean ice. True. You have to clarify. Did it happen? Like, I remember I have I don't know if it happened in the movie. Maybe I looked away for a second or something, but like, don't they bring him his drink and they actually have rocks in it and he throws them out and he's like, Toons.
Well, what he says is he's like, I want a bourbon on the rocks and make sure it's ice, not rocks. And then they do bring him
bring him
bourbon on
rock.
literal rocks.
And he has to throw him out and he says Toons again, right? Okay.
Toons. And
Yeah.
I just want to say really quickly, Bob Hoskins is a incredibly British man, and it doesn't squeak out at all. He can do a Brooklyn accent.
I disagree,
well.
but it's because he isn't doing the like, instead of being like, "What are you doing here?" He'll be like, "What are you doing here?" And he'll really
Yeah.
hit the R's hard, and it's because he's trying to overcompensate for the fact that he's British and he doesn't want to be like, "What are you doing here?" So he's like, "What are you doing here?" So I don't agree with you that he's hitting the accent he's supposed to be doing, but he doesn't. Yeah, it just sounds weird. It's like you can tell it's a British person doing it.
I think it reminds me of his performance as Mario a lot. This and
Yeah, it's
him
basically
playing
the
Mario
same
in the Super
performance.
Mario Brothers movie. He's
I think
just
when
doing
they got
Brooklyn.
up Mario-
Never once brought up again.
Yeah.
That's the first movie I remember watching as a kid and being like, "Oh, this is really bad." Like as a kid, you have no sense of that.
Yeah.
But I remember because I loved Mario and I watched that as a kid, and I was like, "This is terrible."
I gotta tell you, I fucking loved that movie when I was a kid.
I'm a
I
little
saw
bit
it in
younger than you
theaters
guys, so I
twice.
didn't have that yet, but
It
it did eventually hit me.
because like before that movie came out, I was watching the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Of course, as one.
Hey,
Great, it's great, and I thought that we'd be getting something like Captain Lou Albano and like that sort of thing, and then the movie just didn't. And John Leguizamo was there, and he went on to do the worst movie ever, The Pest.
If you say The Pest, well, that's going to be done on this show, I'm sure, at some point.
I don't think we can even talk about most of the stuff that happens in The Pest. It is
That's
one
true.
of the most offensive movies ever made.
the past is
Well, we'll do Clifford instead.
this high. Oh, never mind. A
lot of
hey.
people have asked me if we've done The Pest on this show, and I have to be like, I don't know if it holds up in that
What
way.
kind of people ask you this question, Jason?
dirt men?
Dirt men. Okay, just wondering.
So Jessica Rabbit hits the stage, and how did you guys feel about her performance? Thought it was pretty good myself.
I like that her dress.
I mean, bisexual awakening. And I've also, when I used to work at an adults only club, I did a Jessica Rabbit number, and I would always start with that song.
Mm.
And then I would go into like big band and swing versions of Stacy's Mom and Smash Mouth's All Star, so that I could confuse the people in Pervert's Row. Because
Did you just pay your rent for months off of those
oh
performances?
yeah, confused boners are my bread and butter.
Confused Boner was my nickname in high school.
My God.
The Mario
So good.
Brothers Super Show.
Because like Jessica Rabbit wasn't like I was more like April O'Neil, like was my kind of thing when I was growing up, and the one
Okay,
from
you liked
Chip and Dale.
women with more realistic proportions.
The thing about Jessica Rabbit is she felt like a mom, like an adult, you know, like I was like I kind of looked up to her, but later in life, well,
Wow.
Michael Frank said it best when he said
listen.
"Awooga."
For me, it was Goliath. Goliath was the
Goliath from Gargoyles.
I was expected to like big boobs and big butts, but when Goliath showed up, I was like,
Look at those giant
this man's
pectorals.
breaking free from stone, and I gotta tell you right now, something is turning into
So am
stone.
I.
I mean, I can't say anything. My first crush was Donatello from the Ninja Turtles.
See,
But then I was
They call
also
him
into, like,
Donatello
other
for a
gargoyle,
reason.
the Lady Gargoyle. That's where it was really confusing. I'm like,
Lady
I want
Gargoyle didn't really do it for me.
gargoyles.
I was. What's up, most? What's her name from fucking Chip and Dale?
Oh, Mouse
Uh,
Gadget.
Gadget. Yeah, Gadget. Yeah,
I almost
Gadget.
I was like going through the theme song in my head. I'm like, I don't think they say anyone's name except for Chip and Dale.
Chip and Dale,
They say it a lot.
and that little mosquito guy.
They also say Chip way more than they say Dale. I hope
Chip.
I hope they got paid the same. Yeah.
I feel like Launchpad was a lot for a lot of girls.
Demonia on the Gargoyles. Yeah,
What about Monterey Jack?
Monterey, Crocky. That's how I learned
No.
how to say Crocky.
I think for
Jason, I
the
feel like you could do a good
without
Monterey
like the
Jack
unproblematic himbo.
You've got Monterey Jack energy.
I do.
Yeah, get a big yellow trench coat and shave everything except the mustache and dye it red. You could do a good Monterey Jack.
I feel
When
like
I
you
smell,
yeah.
when I smell cheese, my fucking eyes go like.
Yeah, you float off the ground. You look
Yeah,
hypnotized.
and my
Yeah, get
mustache
some
goes all
crazy.
fucking-
You should get some crazy contacts that have like the different color. Yeah, hypnotism.
Yep.
That'd be good.
I want cheese.
Now I want cheese. Oh, okay, very good.
Wow. Thanks, Mike.
What a good episode so far. Honk, 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 go!
I'm
I
sweaty.
feel like every time you guys have me on the show, things just get so derailed. I apologize.
It's. I mean,
Well,
we're literally having to talk about this right now. But Jessica
It's
Rabbit
better
also didn't
than-
really do it much for me, but I was also like a weird kid who was like pretty desexualized until a certain point, and then I was like, oh, I see, I understand now. It was made clear. I like the way her dress twinkled. I remember being a kid being like, ooh, and like I also noticed that throughout the rest of the movie, her dress is just red, but during that initial opening moment, they do something where it must have been like a particular type of animating where they had the texture between the plates or something, because it's moving in a weird way where the sparkling texture is coming through as though there's like a hole in the frame or in the frame of the film or something. But it's cool and it looks good. But yeah, it is also very horny. And it reminds me of the scene from The Mask, which I later was like, oh, I'm attracted to Cameron Diaz in The Mask. When I was,
I'm actually surprised they didn't cut over to one of the tunes going wolf-faced, awooga, tongue rolling out. Like,
well, maybe to the benefit of us all, because then later on, Jim Carrey got to do that in The Mask. And if they had done that in this movie, then that scene wouldn't exist in The Mask.
That's right. Because
Also a good movie, and it's similar energy to this, but also not geared towards children. The Mask is like a pretty PG-13 movie.
Yeah. The Mask is another noir, I think, that we would easily fit into this month.
I was thinking that as well, but it's
a bit different.
It is different.
Yeah.
But you're
Has
right.
the same
It has all the
energy.
noir tropes in the sense that like everybody is sort of nihilistic and the world sucks for everyone, which is maybe more noir than most of the noirs we've done this month.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit darker too. Some of the stuff in there anyway. So Valiant is seen going to talk to Jessica, or sees Acme going to talk to Jessica. He gets thrown out for snooping. He literally does the trope of going to like a keyhole and looking through.
Yeah.
And when he gets thrown out, we kind of glossed over the big ape character, which I thought was really funny, the big monkey. But he gets thrown out by him for snooping, and then he gets a picture of them playing patty cake. And the patty cake thing, the innuendo of the patty cake is so weird and adult.
Yeah,
Feeling.
I remember as a kid being like, what? And then like I remember the adults that were in the room while we were watching it clearly were very uncomfortable, and like they were like, okay, just don't listen to this part. And I was like, what? And like I didn't really understand what was going on. I must have been like 5 or something, right? So I'm like, I don't know why they're getting upset from me, because they're just playing patty cake. But then Valiant is like, oh my god, he's like, this is fucking insane. and then like I think they fast forwarded through it even, and then later you see that they're literally just playing patty cake, but like when Roger goes into cartoon mode and he's flipping through it so quickly that it's like actual animation. That's very clever and good, and it's good for the movie, but at the same time, weird to put in a kids movie, right? Like very, very weird. This
Back over at Acme Studios, we see Roger. He's super distraught, and we learn that when he drinks liquor, he explodes into a factory horn, factory whistle, and blows up the whole room.
Or whatever. Yeah.
A steam whistle. Thank you. Fuck. This is also after this scene. Valiant heads home, and we get even more backstory on, like,
I like this part a
his,
lot, actually.
His life was kind of like we get the thing where they show a bunch of news articles.
But it's like the way it's shot is really good, and like you understand that it's meant to be
the dust
through the music and the dust and like just
the dusty desk.
He goes to his desk and it pans over to his brother's desk. Also, I don't think we mentioned the music is Alan Silvestri, which is like, you know,
right.
He's everywhere now. We all know him because of the everything in the MCU for a little while there. But, you know, he's been around for a long time, and he's, you know, all through the 90s and early 2000s up until he finally showed up to be like, and you're like, oh, he's a John Williams? Cool.
But he also did the music for like the original Spider-Man movies as well. Like he's had his.
Which ones?
Like Spider-Man 1, like the
that was
Danny Elfman. No, Alan Silvestri is he's Spider-Man 1.
I can tell you right now that the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, Danny Elfman did the music, because Danny Elfman has done the music for every Sam Raimi movie that's ever been made, including the fucking Doctor Strange movie that came out, where they would have got Alan Silvestri, but he's like, no, I got to get my man Danny on this.
Why does my brain think? Because you're right. Obviously, it would be.
Obviously, you're right.
Obviously, it would be obvious. Yeah.
Maybe he did the Spider-Man cartoon show in the 90s or something. I don't know.
No,
or it's possible he did the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I don't know.
I think what I'm confused about is Age of Ultron is Danny Elfman doing Alan Silvestri's Avengers.
Age of Ultron.
Yeah, in that movie specifically, Danny Elfman does.
Danny Elfman didn't do the music in Age of Ultron.
He has. There's a version of the Avengers theme done by Danny Elfman. That is true.
But that's in Doctor Strange because it's the only Marvel movie that he's worked on.
This one I'm sure of, because
Age of Ultron, the music is not Danny Elfman.
Dun, 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 dun. It is.
Danny Elfman did the music for Age of Ultron?
Yep.
Oh,
yes.
Wow. Okay, I'm wrong. I admit defeat.
The only reason I know that is because I listened to that version on Spotify like a lot.
Nice.
Like a lot.
Anyway, this is not a conversation about Roger Rabbit. Let's move on.
Mike Smith is here.
He's Bob Zemeckis' go-to guy.
Yeah.
That's true.
True.
Anyway, Silvestri is up there with Elfman, up there with Williams, up there with what's his name, Michael Giammaggio or whatever the guy who's
Giannacci.
No, it's not. It's Giacchino, I think is the name.
Giacchino, yeah.
But he did all the music.
It was amazing as well.
Yeah. He's also like he is kind of like the Lost soundtracks. Like always, were really reminded me of John Williams music, and I'm like, this guy's like the new John Williams. Anyway, we got to stop talking about this because this
Goofy cleared of all charges was a great headline. Because what did Goofy do?
What didn't Goofy do?
Or didn't do? Yeah.
It's true.
What I learned here is Dolores seemed to be their like secretary.
My brain is going through a list of potential charges, and like I went through all the bad ones first, like a Diddy party and like a a
Goofy
Diddy,
party.
didn't he? Yeah, Goofy. Things got goofy at the Goofy Mansion.
There's no sporting, but it would be from Little Flowers.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's probably what happens at a Diddy party too.
Have you guys ever been invited to a goof off? I haven't.
This podcast is a goof off.
Yeah.
It's just non-sexual.
Mhm.
Wow, that was actually really good. I wish that we could make a goof off shirt. If only the freak offs weren't so nightmarish.
I mean, I could probably come up with something that isn't too
Yeah.
egregious and offensive and problematic, but
And
Come to the
Disney
goof
says
off.
they love to sue.
they love to sue you.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't sued me for any of my fucking Jawa shirts yet, and I got a lot of them. So
he
anyway.
falls asleep in a bottle and he's woken up.
yeah, he does the
By it.
classic. I drank too much at my desk, thinking about my dead brother.
And they do the noir trope of like Lieutenant Santo wakes him up and he's like,
Yeah, I do. This
"What do you
one
have to do with all this?"
Because like I've seen this exact scene in so many movies, right? Where like somebody who is has some sort of monicum of power or at least authority over him in some particular way shows up to wake up the person who passed out from drinking too much in this scenario, where it's like clearly he's haunted by his demons, and this happens enough that this guy is like used to. He's not like, oh, he got drunk, I should wake him up daintily. It's like, no, I'm gonna slam his whiskey bottle into the fucking drum of a goddamn garbage can. Really
Right.
shatter whatever dreams he's having right now. And it's
It
good.
turns out though, Marvin Acme is dead, and Roger Rabbit killed him.
Yeah. The rabbit killed him last night. Dropped a fucking safe on his head. Which again, a classic way to kill somebody as a cartoon. You drop a piano, you drop a safe, you drop I don't know, an anvil, maybe.
Yeah,
There's
an anvil's a
tons of
good
things
one. I was
can
like,
drop,
you said all of them, but no, the anvil is it's the holy trinity of cartoon murder.
Maybe that's a shirt. The Holy Trinity of cartoon murder.
Make that they go to investigate the scene of the crime. Yosemite Sam is there. That's an interesting pull. I know it's Warner Brothers, but it's interesting.
I
to see
remember
him.
I got really excited as a child watching this for the first time when Yosemite Sam fly, because I was like, what is it gonna be? And then when it was like, oh, what the tarnation? As he's like, his butt's on fire and he sits in a puddle and his mustache goes up and his hat goes crazy. Love that. Made me feel safe. But then followed by the most unsettling and disturbing moment of the entire movie, I think. For me, at least. I don't know about you guys, but we can talk about it. But they go into the murder scene, and it's like an Acme warehouse full of, gag products that Acme sells, not just to Toontown, but also to the rest of the world, I assume. And there's a bunch of other detectives there already working the scene, and they invite them in, and they start kind of like going through stuff. And like, the thing that's disturbing about it is that like these guys are doing it stone-faced, and that they also have this like secret sort of like cabal against him where they're laughing and giggling and talking shit about him while they're fucking with him. That guy like pulls up the hammer that like opens up and it's like a boxing glove that like knocks over all the stuff around him. And he's like, you used to be Eddie Valiant, didn't you? When, as a kid, I didn't really understand. I just felt the tone and the intention of these guys, and I knew that they were trying to be threatening, and all of it was just making me like legitimately frightened as a child. Not to mention that there's a corpse with a fucking under a sheet and like a one of the chalk outlines of a dead body with a big safe right where his head is, and like my mind is going crazy, and I'm like, oh, this is so scary. Why is this movie becoming so frightening? And then, sorry, I don't want to talk throughout the whole. You guys can give me your vibe. Like, what do you feel about this moment?
Well, the first thing I want to mention is Yosemite Sam comes flying over the fence, and Toontown is just sort of over there.
Yeah.
So I'm already distracted by that element. But to see a human man, crushed by a safe is very unsettling. And during this whole
sequence, chalk outline, it would be crazy if it was his actual body with like brains everywhere.
Well, they do have a thing where like he's on a gurney and he's covered over, and like the joy buzzer falls out of his hand, right? So he's still got his personal effects on him. So like it's pretty fresh.
Would you imagine his head is decimated, right? Like,
Oh, it's that corpse doesn't have a head on it. The head is still underneath. What do you think, B?
I mean, you guys exhaustively covered this.
Yeah, you're right.
Extra thoughts to add on this scene.
I think it was just like, for me, it was just like it impacted me so much as like a really frightening moment at like, because up to this moment, like the movie had only unsettled me a little bit, but this particular sequence of events like actually scared me as a kid, where I was like, I don't know if I can watch this. This is too scary.
I didn't get scared until further in the movie.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, there's also the moment where he's, the hand comes out of the gurney, and so I'm like, oh, dead body, frightening. And then the ring falls off, and he wants to grab the hand buzzer, and then we get introduced to our main protagonist or antagonist of the film.
Well, we
Judge
also,
Doom.
but just right before that, though,
Scariest man on
Jessica Rabbit is there. And
Oh, yeah,
Jessica
she
slapped
slaps
the
him.
shit out of Valiant about the pictures.
I
There's
hope
the thing
you're
where
proud of those photos you took, Valiant.
There's the thing where the box of rubber shoes opens and just are everywhere, and then in the chaos, Valiant gets the buzzer up. But that's when Judge Doom shows up, which is unsettling because of the way they introduce him. It's very like theatrical, like stage theatrical. Like enter Judge Doom, and
It's a
he's
cool way to
tall.
do it,
Like
too, yeah,
you see it from Valiant's point of view. Like you're looking up at him.
But
which is
not
pretty
only is
intense.
Valiant already short, but he's like crouching because he's trying to grab the hand buzzer, right? And like the
Yeah.
way he's introduced is he stabs him in the hand with his cane, like he crushes his hand. He's like, "Is this detective trying to remove evidence from the crime scene?" And it's like, oh, and then you get a full visage of him, and it's like he's a man basically dressed like a magician from the Western times, like a man
Yeah.
who would tie a damsel to railroad tracks. Like he should have a big curly
He should
mustache.
have a mustache that he's
Yeah.
twirling. It's giving snake oil salesman a little bit too, or Grim Reaper. You said earlier, Grim Reaper is a good one.
Well, it's like because you start to again, it's so HD that you can like you start to see like the makeup definition lines of like where they painted his face to be ghostly pale, but also they put like a contour and like a fading darkness on his neck to make him look more like a
Right.
skull suspended, right? Because like without that he is still threatening, but like he wouldn't look as scary as he does, right? Because it's
I wanted to ask you guys about this too. They introduced the Weasel. I think they're called like the Toon Squad. They're like the Weasel Police, but they're all like.
isn't that what
very-
the team from Space Jam? is
That's
called?
what I said in my head when they did that. But the reason why I ask is they're made up characters for this movie.
The Weasels?
Yeah. What do you think they're a Warner Brothers thing or a Disney thing? And I'll just say mine first. I think they're Disney because they
Have to
remind
be
me
a
so
Disney
much of the hyenas from Lion King. I know that movie hasn't.
Anything
hasn't
that's
come out
made
yet.
up in this movie that hasn't been brought up in the past as an existing property would be Disney, because it's a
Right.
Disney movie, even though it was
They also
released
like
under
look more Disney than like Warner Brothers IPs. I thought.
well, it's again, this is a Disney movie.
Yeah,
They have Disney animators. They are Disney creations.
they
So they
do
are Disney
look
characters.
like if Robin Hood had like little weasel bad guys.
Yeah,
Like
Or,
they're very
you know,
Robin Hoody.
You know, what we should dub them as Touchstone. Touchstone. creations.
Touchstone. Okay, that's true.
Or it's like they're very Disney because that's who created them, but they're like the evil Disney characters that like we don't always want to have all like the crows from like that racist fucking Songs of the South
Yeah.
animation or whatever. They get tossed into the Touchstone vault.
Well,
instead of
the
vault.
bear from Songs of the South. I think there's a bear in Songs of the South. I think it's in this.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I've never actually seen Songs of the South, so I don't know.
Maybe the bear was from something else, but it was a bear in overalls, and I just assumed.
You assumed? I thought it was just like I don't know, like isn't it like Whistling Dixie or something? Like I don't even know what it is, to be honest. I know that it's like one of those things that's like notorious racist, so Disney has been like
This
we
seems
have it
easily
as like a
believable.
historical artifact, but we don't want to like claim it anymore. But it does exist, and we probably shouldn't purge it from reality.
I also feel like they were kind of based off of the Seven Dwarfs. Actually, I looked
Okay.
that up, and they were inspired by the Seven Dwarfs.
The Weasels.
There were supposed to be 7 of them. There were 5 of them. But their names are Smarty, Greasy, Psycho, Wheezy, Stupid.
Stupid is one name.
Stupid is
Huey,
the
Dewey, and Louie, but evil.
I mean, a stupid is the one who hits himself in the head with a baseball bat, I assume.
Yeah.
Psycho has stuck with me this whole time. Psycho speaks to me in this really unique way because he sticks out so much.
That's the one with
He's
the
got the
straight jacket
circle
again?
eyes.
he's the one that's like the gray with like the
He's
super
in a straight jacket.
scary yellow teeth.
Yeah, he's got a
Oh.
straight jacket on, I assume.
Is this a straight
Or is that-
jacket one?
Oh wait, no, that is Psycho. Wheezy
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the other guy.
Psycho is the one that you
That
constantly
looks like he
hear.
got electrocuted.
Yeah, because you also constantly hear Psycho because they show up and you just hear him laughing. The
Yeah.
entirety of the Weasel's existence until he dies is just him laughing. I would attempt to do the laugh, but it's so cartoonish and crazy that I would probably not feel happy about myself after doing it. But he, like the whole time that they're there, he's always just giggling in the background. Anytime something even remotely funny happens. Yeah, see? Doesn't it feel embarrassing when you don't do it right?
My name's Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, see? Also.
A little bit.
That
Now I
sounded
feel
more like
terrible.
that sounded more like I'm gonna go to the moon because it's made of cheese.
A little bit. He is a little bit. Fuck, I can't remember that character. My name is
Harry Carey. And the moon.
Harry Carey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm looking at pictures of them right now, and you know what they look like to me? I am going to say Disney, but I'm going to say Disney because they look like Don Bluth characters.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, that must be the connection that I'm making.
Like-
They felt very Disney to me.
They look very Don Bluthy to me.
Maybe this is before Don Bluth started like poaching some Disney animators, where he's like, "Oh, these Roger Rabbit characters are so good, and you know they're not even giving them credit for these wonderful creations that they made. They're putting it under Touchstone. I'm gonna bring these people over to my studio, and I'm gonna get them to animate toasters and shit or whatever." Wait, no.
I'm going to get them to animate things that will make people cry.
Yeah.
The Scared
And
Little
also
Toast. What's that movie
traumatized.
called?
The Brave Little Toaster,
Brave Little Toast.
Oliver and Company, every
Yeah.
single freaking tragic Land Before Time movie.
Yeah, the dinosaurs.
Land Before Time turned like 40 this year, and I'm like,
One of my favorite movies of all time, his final movie, AI Artificial Intelligence. If you guys, or not AI Artificial Intelligence, AE After Earth. No, wait, that's not it either. What's that movie where they go to space or like they leave Earth?
Earth is an animated film. AI is a
No.
It looks
It's
awesome.
AE. I don't think it's called After. Is it called After Earth? AE After Earth. It is called AE After Earth.
Yeah.
It's got like not Bill Paxton, the guy who plays the president in Independence Day. Matt Damon's in it.
Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman is in it. That movie fucking rules. I love that movie.
Listen, Judge Doom runs Toontown, guys.
He does.
He's the judge, the adjudicator,
Jury and executioner. And he also
and he invented a slop that can melt down the tunes. And this little tiny, poor, brave little toaster, brave little shoe is
he
like,
does
hey,
look like a brave little shoe toaster. He does look
he's
like
like, oh, this shoe is annoying me. I'm gonna dip him in the dip, and it just melts him. And he has this like giant glove on, and he puts his whole hand in. So when he pulls his hand out, the paint of the shoe, the red of the
Was I said earlier, like there was a part that freaked me out and like traumatized me. This was the part. This was the part that I was just like, cool.
so I
It's
was
so
I was
hardcore.
including this into the trauma of the entirety of the scene because they never leave the warehouse, right? This is one big
Yeah.
theme to me. But yeah, the fact that like he takes that little red shoe, obviously a choice, right? Like they're like, let's make him full of red paint so when they dissolve him, it looks like blood, and then we can do it because we could be like, it's
Right.
paint, it's not blood, it's paint. But like in your brain as a little kid, you're like, that's blood. Like the paint is his blood and it's red like blood. I'm looking at blood. So as a child, you're like, I am now terrified of this man. He just because that little shoe didn't do anything. That's like killing a cat on screen.
I think exactly. I think it's actually worse because my brain didn't go blood. My brain went, that's his skin and the fiber of his being. Like
Yeah.
more.
This-
It's to me, it's darker than it just being blood. It's like that's his fucking that's him on this black weird glove.
I didn't know it was a contest, Jason. A trauma.
No.
Are you serious?
I don't want you to feel. I don't. I don't want you to feel like that. I know you're giving me a larf, but it really just the impact of that really makes it seem like Judge Doom is the ultimate villain.
He's evil. He killed a dog on screen, basically. Like those shoes
Yeah.
were basically
Oh,
like
the cat on screen.
they're not like they don't come out being like, "Hey, how's it going? It's me, the shoe guy." They come out being like, "Rawr, rawr, rawr, rawr," like meh, 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 and they're just making noises. And even that one is like going up and like rubbing on him the way a cat would, and he's like, "Disgusting creatures, aren't they?" And like he calls himself a judge and an executioner or whatever, but like this shoe didn't do anything wrong. He's just killing it to show everybody around him that he's created a dip that he can kill tunes.
He
with.
could have dipped.
Until now, no
a
one
prop.
believed a tune could be killed, but I've created something that can kill tunes.
He could have
Let me
picked up that
this cat.
hammer that shoots out a fist and dipped that to
Yeah,
show it. But
He
he
could have
killed
done
a living
anything
being.
except kill the tune that was sitting there being like, "Meh." Also, another thing that made it even more traumatizing to me is like he turns around and he has like the crazy look on his face, and Psycho or whatever his name is, the weasel, you hear him like do that crazy laugh while he turns around. And as a kid, I'm like, I thought that was his laugh for some reason. I'm like, it's him as a child. I didn't think this as an adult because obviously I had figured it out. But like as a child, I'm like, he's a tune. Like that's why he's wearing the glove. So even as a 5-year-old, I'm like, he wore the glove because he's a tune. So I felt pretty proud of myself as a child figuring out a mystery before I needed to. But at the same time, it was because I was too stupid to realize that wasn't him laughing. Like he's laughing like a tune. He must be a tune. The dip is terps and acetone and the chemical called celluloid, the medium that tunes exist on.
Melt cellulose. It's benzene.
That melts celluloid. But it was benzene, right? Yeah. Acetone
That-
melts plastic, like any kind of plastic.
Because that was cell animation back in the day.
That mixture, if you as a human being breathe that in, you would expire as well, I'm pretty sure. And that has to create some sort of a mustard gas like chemical
Yeah,
reaction.
but it's right after World War II. They'd all been inhaling mustard gas at that point. They're just like, it's fine.
I mean,
All right,
people
all right.
are still cleaning their cat litter boxes with bleach. So
Yeah, which
That's
is
mustard
gonna
gas.
create mustard gas.
I clean my cat litter box with dip.
Good.
It's the
'Cause
only
your
way to
cat-
make sure that cat pee smell doesn't exist any longer, even though it does still kind of smell like cat pee. So
You used animated cat litter. I always admired that about you, Steve. You know, when you had that cat.
yeah, Jet.
Yeah. That's a
She
good
died.
cat. So Baby Herman shows up at Valiant's office to talk about the murder. Roger didn't kill Acme. Acme had a will and says that Toontown would go to the Toons. And
I do like
Valiant's
that.
like,
Baby,
get out of here.
I like that the baby is like, he's my buddy. He's my pal. We work together. We're colleagues. You know, like I like him. I don't want to see him go down for this. And also, ulterior motive. We're supposed to own Toontown, not this fucking guy. Or you know, like the highest.
Also, would you look at the wawoogas on this fucking woman I got with me?
Yeah, he also says like, I got the libido of a 53-year-old, but the dinky of a 3-year-old, and you're like, oh,
which is one of the only 2 lines pulled from the
Oh.
book.
really okay.
Yes. Although in the book he says the libido of a 36-year-old because that's how old he is. But it's that one, and I'm not bad. I was just drawn that way. Those are the only 2 lines that survived from the book.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn this way is so fucking iconic. I think
It's
that's
also like I used to call my penis a dinky when I was a kid, so it was like very like I was like, oh god, he's even using the word that I used when I was a child. It feels very inappropriate.
yeah.
I don't like it.
In his office, he sees the will in Acme's coat when he puts like the glass down on the picture, one of the pictures of him and Jessica Rabbit,
It's all very sort of like convenient, but it's like,
Yeah,
obviously it's a movie for kids, so they do the stuff that you would
it's
do.
fine.
Yeah, it's fine, and it's kind of charming, and I like it. It's like something that would be in like an easy video game now, like an easy detective video game or something. Like, what's that game called, Heavy Rain or whatever? I mean, like
Oof.
L.A. Noir.
L.A. Noir, yeah.
Heavy Rain is a great game that I could only ever play once.
Yeah, I played it so many times
Jason!
that I wanted to see all the different endings. I wanted to purposely get people killed to be like, what happens if this guy dies at the easiest moment where they shouldn't die? It's like, well, this is what happens.
So he goes to bed after discovering this, and turns out there's a lump in his bed that's moving around, and it's Roger Rabbit in his.
I wonder
hideaway
what
bed.
that lump could be. Oh, Jason already
Yeah.
told us.
I said it. Roger knows Jessica was the victim of circumstance, and he has a letter for her. It's
A love letter.
poorly scrawled love letter on a piece of paper. It's a completely useless piece
It
of
looks
paper.
like it's written in
only has a
blood.
love letter on it. It looks like it's written in lipstick, is where my brain went.
Well, he says it's lipstick.
Yes, he says it's lipstick.
Do you know what's funny? I didn't hear him say that.
What's that?
I didn't hear him say that. I didn't hear him say lipstick. I was like, that's lipstick.
Well, it's because he says like it looks like you scrawled it in blood, and it's like, no, I use lipstick or whatever. Or
What's interesting is this is kind of a callback to the book, because while he's investigating for Roger while Roger is still alive, he's constantly catching Roger tailing him after he's told him, leave me alone, I work alone. So this is kind of like a little callback to the novel.
It is, yeah. I like, because you've told me that it's so different, I am interested. It's like, if you ever like read Blade Runner read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Androids Dream of Electric
Blade
Sheep.
Runner. It's like they're so similar in so many ways, but they're also so completely different in a million other ways. Where like a ton of another noir, actually, we could have done that. Another movie where like everything is very similar but so different. But like there's like this huge moment where like the main character of Deckard is just like, he just wants to buy a pet, but like you can't have a real pet because like it's considered immoral, and also there's not enough pets to exist. So like having a pet is almost considered like a form of slavery. So you get fake robot pets, and he's like trying to decide between what he wants, and like I think he lands on like a raccoon or something. He's like, I want a raccoon. Like I think that would be a good pet.
That's based.
Yeah. Anyway,
he was gonna take it to her, but the weasels were there. The Valiant brothers used to help Toons, we find out here too, and the weasels show up, and this is one of those scenes that you were talking about earlier, Steve, where like it's interesting seeing the weasel hold the gun because it's just floating around, really, but it looks so tactile. It looks like he's actually holding it. And there's also the thing where he's holding Roger under the water while he's washing his clothes.
Yeah.
And that also felt really weird because Roger
he pulls him out and like he sprays the water out, and it's like clearly real water spraying with like an animated person. And I remember watching the making of thing, and it's like it's all very interesting. It's a lot of like pull work and them like moving things and trying to make it look natural in a thing's hand. And it's not wires, right? Like imagine trying to do that with a fishing string. Like it would not work, but they have it on poles and stuff. And this is where I'm like, George Lucas was probably on set every day being like, yeah, we could do that. Yep. Because like this movie like utilizes a lot of old filmmaking techniques, but is updating them to a standard of which had never been done before.
But I'm also imagining this
also
movie
has like early CGI.
Yeah,
that's what I was just going to say. Like this movie sets a precedent for how they would do CGI going forward. Like the eye line that they have to meet for all the animated characters is probably done in a similar way that they do now.
A lot of the stuff that they did in this movie was never used again because it was like deemed too difficult, but it also was like a hurdle that they jumped and then figured out how to do things way easier. They're like, all the shit we learned on Roger Rabbit, we're now going to change dramatically because we know that this doesn't work, but we can now do this. But you can't really tell that it doesn't work in this movie because it's like pretty impressive, a lot of it. But as a kid, it's like magic, right? It's like you're watching a magic show happen before your eyes, like a real gun being held by a cartoon thing. Like this is crazy, but your mind is like, this is just cool to look at. But as an adult, a million years later watching it, you're like, how did they do that? Like, I want to know how they did that a little bit more clearly, because it's clear that there's something happening there, but I want to know exactly what they did. They walked so others could run is exactly right, Michael Frank.
Yeah. Let's get Michael Frank on this show. They go back to Dolores's bar. There's more hijinks, hilarity there. Just like Roger Rabbit fucking being Roger Rabbit's whole shtick, as we find out when he's kind of humanized later at the theater, is like he just wants to make them laugh. That's his sole purpose in life. He's like a god who's a jester. You know, like he makes everybody happy. Everybody who is around him, he brings up the mood of the room, and he's also handcuffed from earlier. He's handcuffed to Valiant.
He handcuffs Eddie, and he's like, "Freeze! You're under arrest, scum!" And like he like changes the shape of his jaw into like a classic sort of like noir detective comic face. But then he's like, "I don't have any keys for these cuffs," and he's like, well that's bad news. And then that's when we go into the scene that we just talked about. But it leads. But
I like the bit that's like
moments of the entire movie.
I like the bit that he does where he takes his hand out, and it's like, you could have taken your hand out the whole time, and it's like, only if it's funny, which adds to like how he is a god.
It's
like,
funnier because it's
very mask. Also,
it's like, it does add a rule where it's like he could only like, is that true? We don't know. Is he a liar, or is it just that like that's actually how he operates as like an extraplanar entity? He comes from Toontown, but outside of Toontown, I can only do shit when it's funny. Is very funny. Where he's like, no, not anytime, Eddie. Only when it was funny. And it's like, sorry,
you hit it.
Okay.
You hit it right there for a moment. Yeah.
Which is funny. That joke is funny, and it's funny in the movie that he's talking about how he can only do shit when it's funny. He can use his god powers when he needs to. But it also is a weakness, right? Like when something is funny, he can't stop himself from doing the funny option, right? Like if there's a regular option and a funny option, he has to take the funny option, right? Like even in like the humanizing moment like you're talking about, where Eddie is telling him about the past, it's like the human option is for him to like comfort Eddie and to be like, man, I'm sorry, I never knew that. Like, now that I do, like, maybe let's try and work together. But then it, like, he slowly slinks out of the frame as Eddie's going into that story. And then it pans over to Roger, and he's like using his own ears to wipe his tears. And he's like, oh, and he's just like, he has to overact the tragic backstory is making him cry so hard that it's like, that's the comedic option, right?
What character is like, I think Roger Rabbit is a amalgam of a bunch of characters, but I think he's like pretty Bugs Bunny. But if Bugs Bunny was more self-referential and more self-aware, I
think that Bugs Bunny is.
I think he's more goofy than Bugs Bunny. Like,
yeah,
Roger is kind of the second banana whipping boy to the baby.
Yeah, right. I don't think that, because like Bugs Bunny is always sort of the impenetrable bravado of his cartoon, right? Like, what's back? Like is his whole vibe, right? But then he's like, I'm gonna trick you into thinking that me and you are gonna do this thing, but actually I'm gonna come out on top every single time. Like, there's never really a Bugs Bunny cartoon where he is made to be the fool, right? He fights Daffy, he fights Fudd, he fights the cowboy,
Yosemite Sam. Yeah,
I mean, everybody that Bugs goes up against, Bugs wins.
Very much like a Goofy.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Because it's his idol too, which is crazy. And Goofy isn't in this movie as like one of the animated creatures that populates the world. He's in the pictures. He's like the biggest star.
Right.
It's almost like Goofy has moved on, like he lives in New York or something, he's not there. Even at the end when everyone's coming out of Toontown, you don't see Goofy, I don't think.
No, you only see him in that theater scene later.
Yeah.
So the going theory is that RK Maroon dropped the piano on Acme to control Toontown, and we get a femme fatale moment with Jessica Rabbit showing up at the agency, and she hires Valiant. And that's when she says, I'm not bad, I'm just drawn this way. And the pictures were set up Roger would have never worked
Well,
in this town
we have
again,
to-
and
I
she
think
had to do all of this to sort of
We've skipped
save
over.
him.
Oh, this happens before the. Yeah, sorry, yeah. This is before he goes to sleep, right?
This is when he
Because there's the whole sequence where he's chained to Roger and they have to go to the bar to like get the tools.
yeah, this is after all of that.
right. We haven't even freed them yet.
Right. The pages were all set up. We have the femme fatale moment before, because it's one of those scenes where it's happening simultaneously. I think he's at the bar being a whack job. Let me just read ahead here, because Dolores walks in on Valiant with his shirt off or his pants. Like, I literally caught you with your pants down. And she's just trying. Jessica Rabb's just trying to set everything up.
Yeah,
for
this whole sequence is kind of weird. Yeah,
them. Dolores tells him that Cloverfield is actually after Toontown, not Maroon. At midnight tonight, there's going to be a transfer of power. The Weasel's here, and Roger's, of course, partying at the bar. So, like, this is sort of happening back and forth. He leaves Roger back at the bar while he goes home and has this moment with Jessica Rabbit and Dolores at the bar.
and then that's when like the smoke and a pancake or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Valiant goes back to the bar, throws Roger in that like back storage area. It's like, shut the fuck up. Valiant freaks.
Can survive a shave and a hand job or whatever it's called.
Valiant freaks on Roger for being out in the open while he's supposed to be hiding. But Roger just wants to make him laugh, make him laugh, make him laugh. And that's when Judge Doom shows up. And
this is also like
with
what
the
I was talking
weasels
about
in this.
before, where like his powers are unlimited, but he also has an ultimate weakness, which is that like if somebody's looking for him, they can just set up a tiny joke and it will burst him out of hiding. Yeah. Smoke
Shave and a haircut. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm
Two
saying the wrong-
pins.
Yeah. Is it pence? Like
No, it's 2 bits.
2 bits.
Two
right?
bits. Yeah.
Yeah. Smoking a pancake is wrong. That's also from Austin Powers.
That is from Austin Powers.
Shave and a hand job. What's that from? I don't even know.
Shave and a haircut.
I'm assuming your Google search history.
Oh.
I meant to that
you're right.
specifically.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's this interesting moment where Judge Doom is like doing like his own little detective thing, and he picks up the record and he like sniffs it, and Roger, he's like, okay, everything seems fine here, but I'm just gonna go knock on this wall. That's where he does the bong and a waffle moment. He gets Roger, bong and a blitz, and they're about to dip him, and then the credits roll, and that's the end of the movie. Not really.
I like that when he turns around, he's like, "That's never gonna work," and he turns around and like Roger's like grabbing himself, and his like ears are twisting up. He's like trying everything in his entirety of his body to not do the joke, but we know that Roger has to do the joke.
But no, but what they end up having to do is Valiant, who's actually a very intelligent person, realizes that if they just feed him some bourbon, he's going to freak out and explode the whole room, which is great. And also that that bully guy does a thing where he's like, yeah, because Valiant is like, Doom is like, I'll give $5,000 to anybody that gives me any information about where Roger Rabbit is.
Yeah. Also, Christopher Lloyd, worst handwriting I've ever seen. I'm like, whoa. Bro.
And it's scraping, changes French dip into rabbit.
Oh yeah,
dip
everyone's like as he's like.
But he's like $5,000, and it'll make you, because remember, $100 for Valiant is a lot of money. So $5,000 in 1947.
But these guys love Roger Rabbit. They entertained him all afternoon, and the guy that has been set up as the bully decides to just fuck with Judge Doom, which is great.
This is crazy that Von Aether is giving us the etymology of what the bit means. Bit is equivalent to the Old Spanish pieces of 8. An old peso is composed of 8 bits, so 2 bits was a quarter. 2 bits. Thank you for that. But yeah, they're about to dip him. They feed him the bourbon. They do the joke where it's like, "You want this? I don't want it. You want this? I don't want it. You don't want this? I want it." He drinks it. He explodes.
Like, orange, you glad I didn't say banana or whatever.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
basically. Is it also the fucking origin of the computer term bits? Because that's what I was thinking when I was reading what Von Aether was saying. That's incredible. I'm a computer nerd. If you hadn't noticed.
Are you?
A little bit.
Are you really?
Are you really? It's just my job.
It's just my
yeah.
job. 2 bits.
So he explodes and Valiant fights the weasels. They escape and take Roger's nightmare talking car. The nightmare talking car actually affected me as a fully grown adult man.
They sprung the cab or whatever, those fucking weasels. Yeah.
I don't like it.
You don't like
really? I loved the car. I felt so bad when it got its wheels melted.
I also did feel bad when it got its wheels melted, but this talking car that like never shuts up.
I mean, Roger Rabbit doesn't shut the fuck up either. That's one of my main issues with the movie is this guy doesn't shut the fuck up for 2 seconds. I didn't mind the car either. It didn't bug me. I think I kind of liked it. I was like, oh, they got a car, a tune car. It's probably better than a regular car. It can like do crazy tune things. And I was right. It can. It also later can drive a car. Like later on,
that part made me laugh out loud.
It's so funny.
Actually.
A car getting into a car and driving a car is very funny.
Yeah, being like, you can't drive. Let me take over. I'm gonna.
You've done enough driving tonight, Roger. Move over. And
then
his weird blown out tires turn into perfect hands.
Turn into hands to manipulate the steering wheel. We'll get to that in a moment. But we get 2 pretty good high speed chases. This is a high speed chase with a shootout. And the car, the talking car. Do we know the name of the talking car? Does it have a name?
Yes, Benny.
Benny? I like that. I'm coming around on the car, okay?
Now that I know his name's Benny, I'm like, you know what? This guy.
My initial reaction to this car was like, God damn, freaking me out. But he has super wheels that can go up, and they do a bit where like they're gonna go to a bridge, and it's like, oh no, your wheels are too high. But he pops the wheels up and they end up on the overpass.
They get away. Yeah. It's a great
The cops and the weasels have a cool crash moment, just like the cinematography of the weasels and the old school cops crashing, I thought was really interesting. And this is the scene that we were
cops realizing you're about to get in a car crash with a tune. They're like, fuck, these tunes are gonna survive no matter what happens, but we could die.
Yes.
And they're going to try and make this car crash hilarious, which means our chances of death is probably even worse.
They're going to try to make this car crash hilarious. Kills me. Yeah.
It's true. They would. They can't take the non-hilarious option. We've already known this about tunes.
It's a good point from Threk. It's a cab, so it talks like a cabbie.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mike is like, Inspector Gadget has wheels.
Yeah.
That's not wrong. They end up at a theater. They're watching a Goofy movie, not a Goofy movie, just a
movie with Goofy in it.
A movie with Goofy in it. Thank you.
Starring Goofy. Yeah.
Roger's a super fan. Valiant tells Roger about a tune killing his brother in a bank robbery investigation gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And he dropped a piano on his head, which we've seen in this movie already. And he had burning red eyes and a high voice, and he escaped into Toontown. Dolores shows up, and Dolores and Valiant almost kiss. So they're going to mend fences, hopefully. But Roger interrupts because he can't help himself.
Yeah, it's like C-3PO in Star Wars or whatever.
Yeah, it's like C-3PO. What a funny thing.
What I don't know is that Roger's full name is Roger C. Rabbit, and the C stands for cockblock.
No.
Yep.
Cockhold?
Well, kind of.
I can picture Roger sitting in the cup chair watching a train of patty cake run on Jessica.
And he's like, this doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. No, I can't do it. I'm still trying to. There we go. I got it. I got the bubble there.
There you go.
No, the face I'm making isn't toward your impression. It was more
I don't
towards.
care about your faces towards my impressions. It's fine.
I wasn't doing that.
I just put into your head that you will never be able to unsee.
The patty cake thing is
About
always
at 3 a.m.
the patty cake thing has always irked me as like hypersexual, not just like alluding to sex. It seems hypersexual to me.
Well, yeah,
and I
he
know like
considers that cheating in a level that to Roger Rabbit that is sex. Like to him, it is. Like his wife playing patty cake with anybody other than him is basically like. No, I was gonna say something real gross.
Ask
so
him
was
up.
I.
It's like butt stuff.
I thought it was like,
Well, I don't know what that means.
well, we already read that part.
Mm-hmm.
But the burning red eyes thing is a clue. They see a newsreel on the screen that Maroon and Cloverleaf have a real estate deal that's going to finalize at midnight, which we kind of already knew, but it comes down to Maroon and Cloverleaf.
Yeah,
having
and we've
that.
also seen that Cloverfield has been buying up shit all over town.
Yeah, Cloverleaf.
Cloverleaf, but yes.
So, yeah, Clover.
So they go to Maroon Productions. He leaves Roger to guard the car, but Roger gets kidnapped almost immediately. We
by
don't
his
know who
own
did
wife.
By
it.
Jessica.
We
yeah.
don't. We
And it's
don't
not
know
even-
who did it.
We do know who did it.
Yeah, because you've seen it.
No, because we see her seconds after him getting knocked out with a frying pan, throwing him in the trunk.
Yeah, but there's another thing that happens anyway.
No,
Valiant
no.
confronts.
He gets in the head and it pans up and it's her. Did you
Yes.
look away from the screen, Jason?
No. No.
No, I didn't. I swear I did not.
Oh, Cloverleaf like
only-
the highway interchange. Interesting.
The only question about this scene is who killed Maroon. We know
who
Jessica-
killed Roger Rabbit?
We know that Roger is kidnapped by his wife, but we do not know who killed Maroon. But the movie sets it up to make it seem like it might have been her. But we
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you see the like gun and then it getting closer and closer. And then he
also,
gets-
it's one of those crazy long barrel.
Valiant, Valiant gets out of the way, and then the next scene is Jessica like sauntering away.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing is necessary, but it's also like one of those things where it's like, how do we, crank the tension? We need to have Roger go missing so that he follows him, and also like, what do we know about Valiant? He fucking hates Toons. He hates Toontown. Where is he going next? Toontown, baby. We gotta have a whole bit in Toontown. And I don't know how you guys
before
feel about
that-
Toontown, but it's
Well,
fucking
just before we get to that, there
I
are
would
some
hate being in
details.
Toontown. I'll tell you right now, it's too
The-
bright, too loud. My autistic ass would
Before
be
we
in a
get-
corner
before
being
we
like,
get to that- There are some details I want to go over because they're important to the end.
Like when he
Valiant-
drops his last little bit of alcohol.
yeah,
No, before that, when he's talking to Maroon, the whole thing was a setup to go there and give him the will. He ends up giving the piece of paper that is the love letter because, as we find out, spoilers, it is the will. So I thought it was interesting to note, and he's trying to get a confession out of Maroon, and when that gun comes through, he's about to like reveal the whole plot.
Yeah.
But he gets shot dead. So
he
I just
does
want
also
to
reveal enough of the plot that we're like, oh,
true.
because
Mhm.
he admits to blackmailing
The blackmail
Jessica
element.
Rabbit into
Yeah.
playing patty cake and using that blackmail in order to get the will so that he can own Toontown, but he doesn't reveal the buyer of who Toontown is
Right.
going to be. Which
And we see Jessica taking off. That's what you were saying, Steve, where like it seems like she's part of all of this. And then there's another chase into Toontown, which is also interesting. He gets his Toon gun and his Toon bullets, and he pours out his liquor, as you just said, B, and it's clobbering time.
I'm like,
Racist Indian
how is a
bullet
Toon gun
rig.
better? I guess it's better because when you shoot a bullet, the bullet can like stop at an intersection and be like, which way did he go? Like have to figure out which
And this is when we have the most racist moment.
yeah,
Just
it's-
right before that. Just right before that.
Theories.
Toon bullets can kill Toons in Toontown.
Toons can't die. Toons cannot die. We know this. The movie has told us.
Theory, and also Toontown is pandemonium, just pure, unadulterated chaos.
Yeah, it almost feels like a Rick and Morty sketch or something when they first go in there, you know, where you're just like, what the fuck is this place? Everything's like blindingly, like he's like squinting, like, oh god, I can't remember how to get to the town. I gotta drive through this weird forest first. And every cartoon knows his name, like, hey Eddie. Like they all just know who he is immediately. This is the godly effect of these tunes. They have omniscience. They're able to know who you are just by looking at you because it's funny for them to be like, what up, Eddie? Like they look at you and they just see like a blinking name over your head being like, that's Eddie. Just fuck with him for a second. It'll be funny. Toons are scary. They're scary creatures in this world. Anyway, he gets to Toontown and
Just one
all
second.
all the buildings
like-
are arguing with each other.
P, did I cut you off? I felt like you were going to say something.
Oh yeah, the
There we
gun
go.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just the we
The
have
racist
the
moment.
most racist moment when
Okay. Okay.
opens up the bullets and we see the indigenous bullet wearing
It also does something super racist too. Anyway, we can move on from that. I think it's funny that the first person that Valiant meets is Droopy Dog, who is one of the most iconic Warner Brothers characters for how indifferent he is to everything. And he's an elevator operator. And this elevator already is half a floor down. So when he walks onto it, he just falls on his face.
Watch your
Which I
steps.
thought was
there.
hilarious. Yeah, I just
Upstairs.
said. Elevator
Going
hijinks.
down, sir.
Because he sees he's going up the building because he sees a silhouette of Jessica. But already you're like, I don't know if I trust that silhouette.
Well, I was going to ask B, have you ever done, I think her name's Lana. Have you ever done Lana cosplay?
I've not, no.
I mean, all you would really need to do is make the wig like really frazzled, like you got electrocuted, and then put in like hillbilly teeth or something. Like maybe then you could do it. Maybe you have that like an alt wig, like you go out one night dressed as Jessica, and then like every once in a while you put on the fright wig and then put in the teeth, and you're like, "Bah! On my own." And I think you have to put like freckles on. Doesn't she have a bunch of freckles?
I mean, this seems like a great plot for an OnlyFans video. Because if there's anything I love doing, it's, like I said, making conflicted boners.
You know, I gotta tell you right now, I've been writing a lot of OnlyFans fan fiction. I call it
OnlyFans fiction?
OFFF.
OFFF?
And, you know, I could toss you a couple scripts.
Amazing.
A couple scripts.
I have this weird thing where I like to punish people for being attracted to me.
I like to just punish myself for every little thing in my life all the time.
Well, are you a Catholic? Because that's Catholic guilt. Okay.
So what you're
Well, he
saying
goes-
is to buy you a gimp suit this Christmas.
Oh my God.
If only someone would get me a gimp suit for Christmas, my Christmas would be complete.
Wow.
I've been working on that song for a while.
It's very good. I enjoyed all of it. The whole part where you were talking about the gimp suit and how
Yeah.
B was going to buy you a gimp suit
Zippy,
and you were going to wear it at Christmas.
It's Christmas for me. It's right. Ooh, zoot suit. Wait, zoot suit's loose.
Yeah, Zoot Suit is a riot. Listen, so he gets up to the top. He deals with Lana, as we find out her name later. He goes into a bathroom that has no floor at the top of this skyscraper,
Oh,
and he
yeah.
meets Tweety Bird, and he falls and he falls and he falls.
He knows who
Uh,
Tweety is, so this is also like, you know, he's just immediately like, "Hey, Tweety, don't fuck with me, please." And Tweety's like,
Nope. Gonna fuck
No.
with you. Sorry.
But
Which
as
is
he's
fine.
falling,
Tweety
As
fucks
he's
with everyone.
falling-
Tweety is also a Bugs, right? Like Tweety is the same
Yeah.
energy as Bugs, where it's like,
Yeah.
you fuck with Tweety, you're gonna die, basically.
Sylvester the cat is one of the most tragic Warner Brothers characters, in my opinion. You know, like he wants to eat that. There's an episode of there's a Warner Brothers cartoon where it's on that Halloween. Did you guys ever watch the Halloween VHS of Warner Brothers cartoons? And Tweety Bird gets mutant Tweety Bird, he gets giant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that fucked with me.
It's like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing.
Yeah. It's the Dr. Jekyll one. There's also the Abominable Snowman one with Bugs, where it's like, I want to love him and hug him and pet him forever. But as he's falling, Tweety's messing with him. He gets caught up. I think he has a parachute or something. But as he falls,
No, he doesn't have
Mickey-
one.
Mickey
He's falling
and Bugs
without a and they're like, man, what's up, Doc? What are you doing? I see you diving without a parachute here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and Mickey's like, oh,
give him a
or,
spare.
give him your spare. And he's like, yeah, give me the spare, Bugs. And he's like, man, I don't think you're gonna like that. You probably won't want the spare. No, give it to me. Are you sure? Yeah, all right. And he gives it to him, and obviously, what else could it be but a spare tire?
Spare tire. Yeah.
Hilarious. Good joke. Also, again, I think probably my favorite moment in the whole movie, just because hearing Mickey Mouse say like, "Oh, yeah, you could die," like is extremely hilarious. Like that's so funny. I don't think you'll ever hear Mickey Mouse say something so morbid
No.
ever again in all of history.
That's what blew my mind about this and what the deal had to have been. Because you know that Disney doesn't want their characters being like these nightmare people. But Warner Brothers is a classic cartoon where all of the cartoons are hyper violent. Disney cartoons, especially like the mascot ones, they're like kids. That's like kids cartoons. So like you're saying, like to see Mickey in this particular, I didn't think Mickey was going to show up in this because they covet Mickey so hard.
I imagine that like if Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny were friends in like middle school, Mickey Mouse's parents would be like, I don't want you hanging around that Bugs kid anymore, Mickey. And like, no, he's my friend, Pop. It's like, I don't care. He's no good. He keeps giving people
He's always going to
parachutes full of
Albuquerque.
cutlery and parachutes full of, a bunch of used condoms and parachutes full of plunges.
And I don't know if you know this about Albuquerque, but that's where the Breaking Bad guy lives. So Bugs is down there doing meth and cooking meth.
We're pretty sure Bugs is on drugs, Mickey.
Anyway, Valiant falls down to the ground. He ends up in a weird alley. The real Jessica Rabbit is there. She actually helps. So there's that weird scene where like his shadow starts kind of attacking him, and she helps with the shadow. And it's revealed that she was kind of on Valiant's side the whole time. She's just been sort of. It's kind of like it's a little bit like Madonna in Dick Tracy, but kind of the opposite. But it's sort of like
it's also just a trope from this type of movie, right? Where it's like you think the femme fatale is usually going to betray you, and sometimes she does, but in most movies she's there to help.
Well, Maltese Falcon, the femme fatale, is sort of playing both sides.
Yeah, but she's not even really like I mean, femme fatale hadn't really been like solidified as a trope yet, so like that was more like a prototype almost. But this is like 60 years later, they've refined it into a thing where it's like we don't want it to be too predictable for the adults in the room, but at the same time we're making something for kids, so we have to make sure that it's like mysterious and palpable and something that's going to be intriguing, which for those of us that weren't like boing, we're like, oh yeah, this lady might be kind of cool.
But it does turn out that it was Judge Doom because he appears and they have kind of a
love
shootout
when he's running away, his shadow.
And
you'll never catch me either. It's like doing, like his crazy high need run. I also do like the like when his shadow does like a Peter Pan thing and like turns around and like, you all right? Like he trips and he's like, you okay? And he has like a crazy big chin. I'm like, yeah, this is what if he was to be a cartoon, this is what his cartoon persona would be, right?
Turns out the long gun was
Doom.
Judge Dooms as well. Yeah, he was the one that shot RK.
Yeah, this is
Maroon.
where all the pieces start to fall together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they jump back into the nightmare car, and Jessica reveals more about Doom as they realize that the car he came in on was taken by Doom to get out of there. Doom is like pouring poison, wipes out the car. They're now outside of Toontown again, which I didn't even like realize happened.
Yeah,
Until-
I realized it because they weren't surrounded by 100% cartoon anymore.
Nightmares, yeah.
So there's like real grass. So like, okay, they're not inside the cartoon world anymore. But yeah, this movie basically says to us like going through these tunnels will get you into Toontown. It's almost
But
like
they-
Toontown is contained in like a wall, like a Attack on
kinda,
Titan
right?
style. Like keep them inside.
Toontown's on like the other side of the Acme factory, you know? Like there's this wall that's going on. There's like one side of Hollywood that's a wall. And all of the like everything that's pushed up against it on the other side, you can just break through and it's cartoon nightmares. We saw it earlier when
Now I'm
Yosemite Sam
warming up to your
flies over
idea
that
of
wall.
like a world where there's like a cartoon guy being like, we're gonna build a huge wall to keep the humans out of our toon world and our toon ways. We don't like it. We don't like humans here. They can't die.
Toon Ice.
They die too much. Their corpses smell bad. We don't like it.
Actually, that's interesting. That's an interesting person because you know, a lot of minorities joined up with ICE in the United States, not realizing really they're like just want the money from being part of ICE. But it's like you're kicking your own people out of the country.
I don't know what
So-
you're talking about. I'm talking about tunes. I'm not talking about
Talking about
ice.
dudes.
I'm talking about tunes.
ICE. So they take our heroes
Ice,
to
baby, Ice Cool, good movie, a movie that we covered on this very podcast with our beautiful guest B Dolly as the wonderful Jessica Rabbit.
a very real and very voluptuous character that exists.
Whoa,
in
pervert
reality.
alert! Get him out of here. Take him downtown, weasels.
Take him downtown, weasels. That's funny.
You are
They
so
take her-
good at that I feel like I need a shower.
We have two different impressions of that man, but they're both
Yeah, mine's
you know.
called Tronald Dump.
yeah.
Tronald Dump here. We're here to take you downtown. Anyway, I don't remember the point that I was trying to make, but it was something along the lines of they built a wall around Toontown.
They take our heroes to a factory where they're drilling through the wall.
Right.
Toontown
And then, well, yeah,
will
we already talked about how the car drives a car, which is great.
Yep.
Car driving car, good.
Toontown will be Doom's legally. Roger makes it to his car. Yeah, and simultaneously, car drives a car. A car driving a car. Wow, I wrote that in my notes. Doom is the sole stockholder for Clover. I wrote Cloverfield. Cloverleaf.
Cloverleaf.
This is also
Yeah.
back when you could make a movie where someone is the sole stockholder of something and it isn't questioned by anybody in the audience. You just go, oh, the sole stockholder. That means he has ultimate power, unlimited power, some would say.
Unlimited power. Roger makes it in, and he falls in a toilet. That's important for later.
Mhm.
Doom has a dip mobile, as I like to call it, enough to like the dip
You know,
mobile.
he didn't call it that, but I like the name. The Dipmobile.
It's enough dip to wipe Toontown off the planet. He doesn't even want to just cut through at this point. He wants to eliminate Toontown.
It's got
completely.
hoses and like firefighter nozzles and
Yep.
big scrubber street cleaner things on the
The
side.
street
just to
cleaner
make sure
scrubber
you
was the
get
part that I was
scrubbed
like,
up.
yes,
Well, that's
the-
like you get caught in there. If you're not quite dead from the dip, it's gonna scrub you up in the dip and just
true.
turn you into paint or whatever, right? Like,
He wants to build a freeway, maybe the first ever. I want to build a freeway. It's the first ever freeway. And he's obsessed with making progress, which is a little ironic. And this is when I kind of realized that, like, we live in the world where Judge Doom won, but also he literally just wants to do progress. It just so happens that he wants to do it right through Toontown. Why doesn't he go around Toontown or like?
Because he doesn't care, man. He also hates tunes. Like he hates them. He's developed a way to kill them.
He's a self-hating
He
Toon.
can own Toontown, and he
Right.
can get rid of it, and then he's the only Toon who knows what could happen.
This is the thing that makes me feel like he doesn't just care
If you
about
are the only god,
That's true. Yeah.
think of how powerful you are.
Remember the shit he's doing at the end? He's like turning his arm. He's like Carnage at the end. He's like turning his arms into chainsaws and stuff, and like using Inspector Gadget legs and like bouncing around, and like he could rule the world if he wanted to. If he got rid of all other tunes.
I want to hit this real quick. I consulted with the best people, these road people. One of them's a judge. They tell me I remind them of a maroon. They tell me of all the problems in Toontown. These Toon people, animated people, I call them. They're not the best people. Judge Doom calls me. Tears streaming down his face. The Toontown is very bad, and he wants to fix it. To make it a big road, a beautiful road with a Gatorade machine, which I thought was a very smart idea. I'm watching the new season of Stranger Things, and it's a Gatorade ad. So it's funny that Von Aether brought up Gatorade there, but that was a pretty good Donald Trump rant.
That Donald Trump impression was so good that I am pretty sure that my vaginal lips sealed shut.
They stitched themselves up.
Like,
I thought you were going to make fun of me for how bad it was, but I guess I did a good job.
you did a great job. And that man is the most repulsive man in the world. So now I am a Barbie doll.
Hell yeah. I'm glad that I could. This is the origin story for Barbie, actually. So we bought a streetcar to dismantle. Roger comes through in a pipe. He pops up out of a pipe to save the day. The weasel drops a ton of bricks on Roger after making a joke. It would take a ton of bricks to take me out. Drops a ton of bricks right on his head, and he gets the stars finally, guys. He gets the stars that he wanted all along.
That's how you know he's locked in.
Yeah.
You know when like you're watching a streamer and they're playing a game and they're like, "We gotta lock in, boys." That's what happens when you get hit with bricks. Roger Rabbit, he's saving his wife, he's saving Eddie, he's saving all of Toontown. He's locked in. He knows he needs to.
Oh, goodness. So they put Roger and Jessica on a hook. And
Yeah, I mean that's what you do
Dipmobile.
in a cartoon situation. Put them on a big hook, wrap them in ropes, and put them on a hook.
Of course. Of course. And Doom finally slips on the eyeball. So the reason I wrote that down
He
is
slips on them
because
so many times. It's so funny
he's
because they're everywhere.
around
And
on
he keeps
them.
like
They're
he keeps
everywhere.
slipping on them constantly. Like,
And did you notice that when he finally slips on him during the scene, he like does a cartoon, like goes off the ground too far?
well,
and
yeah, he
then,
does like
whoa,
a
whoa,
crazy
whoa,
like.
whoa, whoa.
So okay,
Yeah.
you remember when I told you earlier when I mistook as a child his laughter to mean that he was a toon when I was a kid?
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
this was when it was like mega reaffirmed because he was slipping in crazy ways where it's like his body can't resist the fact to act like a toon. I'm like, see, he's a toon. He's slipping like a toon. He is a toon. He has to be a toon. A human would just step on them and they'd break, but he's slipping. Like my 5-year-old brain was even like putting it together, being like, he's a toon. His body is toon logic. He can't not be a toon.
If you've watched this show for a long time, or if you've just been a friend with Steven for a long time, you know he's very good at picking out like what's going to happen in a movie. I think this might be the first origin
this is
story.
the
I'm
origin
doing
story?
this.
Is this the Steven foreshadowing origin story?
It's the first time you did it. You were 5 years old. You saw the telegraphing through this whole movie,
Yeah.
and finally your
I was rewarded. I was like,
assumptions were
and I like exploded from the ground. I know exactly what's gonna happen next, guys. I know everything. Yeah, maybe
one of
but
these days. You guys are gonna laugh yourselves to death.
But I honestly, it was just because because I misinterpreted a laugh where I was like, he's a tune. Did you hear him laugh? So the rest of the movie as a kid, I was like, when's he going to do a tune thing? And then when his shadow was running away, I'm like, tune thing. And then this, I was like, he's about to go full tune. We're about to see him. He's going to rip his mask
Shake
off.
your
He's gonna be a
tune thing. Shake your tune thing. Come on.
I think I yelled that at the TV as a 5-year-old. Yeah. Not even sure that song was out yet, but maybe it was.
No, it's a song from the 70s, I'm sure.
Okay, well then probably.
But that line about you idiots are going to laugh yourselves to death gives Valiant an idea. So we get this incredible one-man band thing that gets
which
lit
is
up
also
and
set
turned
up.
on.
So like this movie also, I don't think we give it enough credit for like
I
setting
was going to
things
say
up
it
and
earlier.
paying them
Yeah.
off. Because it does almost everything that it sets up, it pays off in a way that matters all the way up to the end, including this moment, which is like their dad was like a circus performer and they like traveled around with him. So they clearly had like this comedy bone within them. Comedy bone within them was what me and my band called ourselves in high school, but we never really played music. So anyway, we also understood that like this was going to end up at the end of the movie, but did we really? Until he turns the music on and it's like ding, 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 ding. You almost expect it to be like a full Looney Tunes, which it is. And I also remember when he's juggling and he runs out of rhymes and like they're like throwing rhymes at him, being like, say this, say that. Like very cute, very good. But he does a good job. He does a pretty good job. He does a lot of pratfalls. When I was a kid, I thought those backflips were really him. I'm like, was that him? But even watching it as an adult, I'm like, they got a thick man to do those flips. Like, if that wasn't him, they found someone of the same stock and build.
So what's funny about this is he juggles some bombs and flubs that. He comes back after he's blown, after he gets blown up and goes behind some boxes. He pops over on a pogo stick, which is incredible, and then gets electrocuted by an overhead light. This makes the weasels.
Maybe it's because he's acting like a
death.
tune. That's why it doesn't kill him. Because that would kill a regular human, I think.
Yeah,
Getting electrocuted directly into your top of your skull.
There's that. What you were saying
I think that would kill you. No.
Yeah, true. But I think he goes into tune mode. The thing that you were saying about how they flub the line, they flub the rhyme at the end. It allows him to kick the head weasel into the dip.
balls.
Yeah.
Yep.
He
The
says
dip
that-
machine.
Well, that's the second line flub. It's almost like he set up the first line flub for them to hit it for him so that he could flub the second one so that he'd be like, that doesn't rhyme with walls, and then he's like, well, what about this? And then just kicks him so hard in the nuts that he flies across the
I think
entire-
Roger loses his mind over that too. He's like, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I'm
the
just
dip
glad that
machines-
Roger didn't laugh so hard that he also died.
Right. That's a good point. The dip machine starts at that point. Doom in the background was also very cool. How he's like going up behind him on like a elevator conveyor thing, and then when he slides down with his cane to kick Valiant was very cool. And now we have the final fight between Doom and Valiant. He pulls out a singing sword. Valiant pulls out a singing sword. I don't understand this reference, but I also kind of like in the back of my head understood the reference. Are you guys 70 years old and know who the singer is that the sword was based
This was
off
for
of?
Grandma and Grandpa in the theater.
Yeah.
It was like a Frank Sinatra-y thing.
It was Frank
Yeah.
Sinatra. I think that was just the joke, is that it's a singing sword. Who would be funny? Did they ever call Frank Sinatra the singing sword? Probably not.
I don't think so.
No, it's got it because Warner Brothers is all about parodying other people, so it must have been something.
But the thing that was kind of racking my brain is that it's called the singing sword, right? So it comes out and it's just Frank Sinatra singing, but like they could have named it anything else.
I'm googling it.
I'm googling it. Does it have more meaning than we have ways
Frigging
to discuss
sword.
here today?
In Roger Rabbit.
I think it might have just been like who would be a funny singer to have, and it's also supposed to be 1947. Remember, so it's got to be.
The Singing Sword is a character who appears in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Despite the Singing Sword, skip ads. Despite the Singing Sword lacks fencing for Eddie like a real blade, it's possible yet speculated that the sword's true abilities were just to sing victims to sleep. Whoever has a weak mind. And then there's just a drawn picture. I don't think it's a literal reference to anybody based on that. Not AI.
I mean, it's
either, just
obviously
on the wiki.
It's obviously a Frank Sinatra reference.
Do you think it's Frank?
Like it's like a crooner from the 1940s.
I think it's more
But it's
general
even-
crooner
but it's
because it
even
doesn't
dra-
look anything like
Yes, it
Frank
does.
Sinatra.
It
It doesn't.
absolutely
He's got
looks
a
like
curly little hair stuff.
it looks. I'm talking about young Frank Sinatra. It looks like Frank Sinatra. Anyway,
Okay.
did your brain not go Frank Sinatra when you saw it? Because that's
Mine
me
went
and-
Frank Sinatra. That's
Me
why.
too.
Mine went. What's that guy's name? Not Eddie Valiant.
That's the main character of the movie.
I know, but he's got a name that sounds like that.
Richie Valens.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, then for Jason, it's Richie Valens. For me and you, it's Frank Sinatra.
Who is it for you, B? You already said.
I said Frank Sinatra.
You already said Frank Sinatra. Fly
Two
me
versus
to the
one,
moon.
baby. Bum, bum, ba, da, da. Yeah, da, 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 da.
That's in the news. Anyway, he takes Doom's sword with a giant magnet, but the magnet backfires and links him to a barrel. Doom is going to flatten him with a steamroller, but Valiant gets the whole gimmick.
So
Black hole.
I realize
black
that this
hole, yeah.
moment has been blotted out from my mind because this actually traumatized me as a kid watching this guy get run over with this thing. And because
Yeah,
like
it's insane.
Danny kept being like, "Do you remember the steamroller?" I'm like, "I don't." Is there a steamroller in this movie? I remember there's like cleaning device that shoots green Gatorade out of it, but I don't remember a steamroller. And then the steamroller came out, and I was like, I got anxious in my chest. I'm like, something is gonna happen that is gonna make me remember something that I didn't like when I was a kid.
Which is wild too, because Valiant grabs like some glue barrel
No,
thing.
he grabs one of those holes. Remember the hole where he puts the guy?
No,
in the
but
hand?
after that,
Oh.
he that's how he escapes. He gets that barrel of actual like green glue, and that's how he gets stuck. It's so-
super
the
glue.
reason-
It's like cartoonish super glue. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the reason why you had such a visceral response is because he gets stuck to the steamroller and then he can't even like get away from it.
No, it's literally the part where he's getting run over. It's so
Yeah.
frightening. And like also even watching it yesterday, I was like, I understand how they did this, but it still seems dangerous. Like it seems very dangerous the way they filmed it because it's clearly a real steamroller. And is it literally voiced by Sinatra? Jason, get fucked.
Hi, my name's Jason Phillips, and I'm going to get fucked.
That's life. That's life. That's what all the people say. Just kidding.
Fly me to the moon.
So anyway, when
Yeah.
he's getting run over, it's because he's like flailing around so intensely, and his body is getting crushed. And you know he's probably underneath a platform or something, and there's like his robe is covering, so he'll never get injured. But like, it looks frightening. Even when I watched it
Right.
the other day, I was like, this guy's getting squished, and it looks scary as fuck. So I understand why my child brain like blocked that out, because that's a nightmarish image.
Right.
And then when he, afterwards, they're like, "Oh, this is the big reveal where he's a cartoon." But my
Mhm.
child brain
After
is
he
like,
gets flattened.
"Yeah, he's not dead yet, baby. He's a toon." For some reason, though, I do remember like viciously in my mind is like his chest getting like a close up of his chest and his face. I must have dreamed this, and like his face going, and then his real eyes popping out. And then
Oh, the bug eyes. The bug eyes were
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah.
The bug eyes were the thing that like stuck with me.
Yeah, the
That
real eye.
and the shoe, but the bug eyes, duh.
And the weird little tuft of hair, like
The tuft of hair is insane. That freaked me out. That freaked me out in all of this when it's revealed that he's a Toon. Also, he reinflates.
He also
himself.
looked. This is my theory I'm making right now that I've crafted is that, like Disney did all those. Disney did all those propaganda cartoons in like
To say that again.
for Germany, for America, like they're like, this is what the war is, and this is how it works out. He was one of the cartoons that played a Nazi over and over again. And then after that work dried up, after World War II, he's like, what do I do now? So he is like a character that was created specifically for Nazi propaganda cartoons.
That's actually an awesome theory.
That is a good theory.
Yeah. Because of the little blonde tuft of hair, he wants to literally be he's a supremacist,
Yeah.
And the outfit. That is very SS.
Yeah. Very SS. Very
Dolce and Gabbana made this for me. I mean, nothing.
But when he reinflates himself, that was also nightmarish because they did like an old school 80s like face mold getting it's the opposite.
Yeah,
in
it's almost like
Big
The
Trouble
Thing or
when the guy's
something,
head
yeah.
explodes.
Or
It's
like Dark
kind of
Star,
the
or not
opposite
Dark
of
Star, Starman, when like the
Yeah,
baby's like
Starman.
growing or something. Yeah.
And he reveals here that he killed Valiant's brother. He's like, and the voice I used was high like this.
When I sounded
Which is
like
crazy.
this, and it was more German like, remember?
Yeah. And his eyes are revealed to be animated because he's got like a plastic mask on, as we find later.
Yeah.
But he uses like dagger eyes, which were crazy. That reminds me of old school animation, like old 40s, 30s animation. But then he has an anvil hand that he can turn into a saw hand, and he attacks Valiant with all of that
He
stuff.
goes full carnage. Like I said earlier, he can just turn into anything his twisted mind can imagine, which most tunes they're trying to get a laugh. This guy is trying to make you scared.
I didn't even think about the idea of Carnage being what Judge Doom is. That's crazy.
They're
because
kind of like
there's a lot of
symbiotes.
parallels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Inspector Gadget.
I mean, you could also think like it from like the Stephen King verse, where it's like you turn into what you want for the purpose that you have.
Well, I was explained. Madison didn't know that it, like that monster, is like from another dimension, like beyond the cosmos, like almost
Right.
eldritch kind of horror. And I was explaining that to her tonight, and it blew her fucking mind because she thought it was just a clown. And I was like, no, the whole point is like it's this monster that like shows itself to you in a thing that eases you but also scares you. And then also he's kind of a Freddy Krueger, and he's always gonna touch on your fears, and that's how he takes out the kids.
Also,
and,
the reason he chose the clown is because he found it particularly useful to his purposes. Yeah.
because everybody's afraid of clowns in the 1980s and beyond. This villain feels very Freddy Krueger-ish. If Freddy Krueger was a Nazi, it's kind of what Judge Doom is.
Yeah.
Anyway, he releases all the dip and saves the oh, sorry, there's more to what I mean here. So what's happening is, as Jessica and Roger are hung up, the Doommobile keeps spraying its dip
To the Doommobile.
to the Doommobile, to the Dipmobile. It keeps spraying towards them, and
It's because the lever keeps getting knocked back and forth. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
Valiant keeps saving them over and over, and like more times than I've ever seen like the main protagonist be saved. It's usually like one or two.
usually I'd get
It's
annoyed with
crazy.
something like this, but like I kind of
was
like
awesome.
that it's
Yeah.
happening because it's giving them a little bit something to do as well, right? Because otherwise they're just hanging there. But like, and they aren't doing anything, but they are like they're adding commentary, and like when he's doing the dance, and they're like, "Use this one," and even Jessica's like, "Or how about this?" And you're like, "Yeah." They're both like involved, like it's kind of good.
So as they have their fight, it's very much like a 1v1 fight all over this factory. By the third time, they finally stop it and they're going to be saved. I think that they recycled an animation of Roger Rabbit like fluttering his feet to like kind of get out of the way. That's neither here nor there. It's something I noticed. But what ends up happening is Valiant like opens the floodgate of the dip machine, and
It just creates a big flood.
hitting Doom, and he melts, and he does literally the Wicked Witch melt.
So this
I'm melting. I'm melting. What a
also was
cruel-
noticing something about his voice. This might be a real thing. It might not be. I don't know. But he's like, I'm melting. But then also like it kept showing his mouth, and it wasn't. And you could kind of see him saying, "What a world, what a world!" Like you could see his mouth doing that, but the audio is not.
I heard him say that though.
He did
So it
not
was-
say that. Not
Oh,
even
okay.
one time did he say "What a world." It's almost like they maybe got like in trouble from MGM or something, being like, "We can't actually use that." So he just kept saying, I'm melting," and then going, "Ah!" Every time it's like him going, "What a world, what a world." It's him going, "Ah!" So it might have been just your brain filling that in.
Filling it in.
Yeah.
That's super relevant to right now because Wicked 2 is in theaters, and that's like all that stuff kind of happens in that movie.
I can't wait for Wicked 2 versus Capcom or whatever, the new video game.
Somebody on Jameel on the Survivor podcast made a funny joke that was like, I've seen Wicked, and now I've seen Wicked 4, Wicked for Good. He hasn't seen Wicked 2 and 3. I thought that was fun
Oh, I see.
because the movie's called Wicked for Good.
I see.
But yeah, the dip machine blasts through the wall, and the rabbits are moved out of the way again. The dip machine is hit by a train as it goes through, and Valiant dilutes the dip with water and it washes away. I thought it was funny when they're like, Roger and Jessica are hanging there, and he's like, "How do I get down? There's dip everywhere." And he hits
Dip everywhere.
He hits the.
I hope it's
water.
still pickle.
Yeah, me too.
That's what one of the cartoons
Dip
said.
pickle. That's what they called me in high school.
Dip pickle? Ugh, Jason.
How come when I
Arrest
do it,
him,
it's
folks.
gross,
Arrest him.
and
Call
when you do it,
911. This man's
funny.
a pervert.
Call the police. Valiant reveals the rope, and Doom was the killer. The rope that originally dropped the safe on his brother. And then we see the craziest cast of Disney and Warner Brothers ever put to film, I think, before and after. Literally,
I don't think it's that
everybody's
crazy because
there.
I only recognize like 8 on either side and then just a bunch of cartoon characters that I'm like, who the fuck is that? Like that's how
Yeah,
I
but you
feel
could
about
easily,
this.
I feel like you'd easily find them in.
I don't know. I truly don't believe that all of them are actual characters from either side. I think that they just
There's
add
a lot
an
of
extra
touch-
flaw.
Dog, and which I think is Hanna-Barbera, isn't it?
Hanna-Barbera
That's a
is
good
like
point.
a whole, that's like the Flintstones, and I didn't see George Jetson floating around. Did you? Did you? Did any of you?
Anybody you don't recognize as a Touchstone property.
Imagine Rosie was there being like, holy fuck, these guys are twisted.
Mr. J.
Oh, here's a note that I wrote. Make a Smash Brothers game with all of these characters and call it Disney versus Warner Brothers. I know they made multiverses, which
No,
was
you know what they should call it, Jason? Toontown.
Town. Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
way better.
I mean, they did make a couple of Roger Rabbit games. I think one was for the Atari.
It must have been because like 88, right? This is before
Oh yeah, 1989. It's a Nintendo. Oh, I remember this game. It's NES.
There were two. So there was one that was for Nintendo and one that was for multiple platforms, and I think one of them was like Atari or something.
Looks like DOS.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Looks like it might be
the way you hit that D, Jason. I thought you were gonna say it looks like dog shit.
Well,
I mean,
It
all
doesn't,
games back then
actually.
did.
Yeah.
it actually doesn't. It looks pretty fun. It's probably terrible. Was it LJN? Because if it was LJN, yes, it was LJN. So it was dog shit. Looks like dog shit.
Looks like DOS shit.
Looks like DOS shit. The love letter was also the will, as we find out, because
But
of
we
the
know
invisible
because the
ink. What
invisible
did he
ink on his
do?
shirt appears.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And the
pretty good.
tunes inherit Toontown.
Which is so
Tunes
nice.
inherit the earth.
And the tunes shall inherit the earth is exactly what Acme said.
And now
But-
Eddie gained his sense of humor back. So he's going to hang out in Toontown.
How come, B? Tell us about that whole scenario.
What do you mean? I think I
Well,
said
There's more to it because Roger joy buzzers Valiant, and he looks like he's about to freak out and get mad, but then he gives him a big old smooch on the lips.
oh, gives him a kiss on the lips. Yeah.
Yeah. And they have
That's
a
how you know.
sing along. They have a sing along down the movie. And I stayed for the credits because I was so curious about so many of the credits. But also the song that goes into the credits was great. And, you know, Alvin Silvestri just fucking nailed it. And listen, I think this movie is one of my favorite movies. And I'm probably going to update my Letterboxd tomorrow with my top 4. But
What?
we
You're going to
did
put this into your top 4 of all
it.
time
Yeah,
movies?
I think so. I think
Oh
so.
my God,
I
Jason.
think I'm going to take Step Brothers out of there and add
Oh,
Roger Rabbit.
okay. Well, then, yeah. maybe if Step Brothers is in there. Jesus Christ.
Well, should we go into our Home Alone of It All? Our Roger, who
I don't know though,
Framed
but,
Roger Rabbit of it
but
all?
hold on. It's the motherfucking Catalina wine mixer. Does it actually deserve to be higher than Roger Rabbit?
No, I need to update
Greatest
my
movies
whole
ever made?
top 4 because of literally the 200 plus movies I watched this year. There's a lot of movies that overtake even Parasite and Midsummer. So I need to readjust all of it.
Last Midsummer, I got a Parasite.
If you had to pick one,
But what do you think the Home
when
Alone of it
is
all?
the Home Alone of it all?
Can someone please tell me when the Home Alone?
I
of it
really
all
gotta
happens?
know.
Home Alone of
When
it all?
is the Home Alone of
What
it all?
is the Home Alone of it all?
Now that's the Home Alone of it all.
Also, last Midsummer, I was called a parasite. I didn't
Oh
like
my
that.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
I didn't like
So, just for the people at home, the Home Alone of It All is the idea that in the movie Home Alone of It All, the part where Kevin McAllister slaps down the blueprint and then destroys his adversaries is sort of what we're there to see. So most movies that me and Steve have posited that like most movies have a sequence that you're there to see. This could also be like your favorite part of the movie also. B, you've been here before. You have your own playlist. You've done this 100 times. You've done it 7 times. It's up there. It's more than a lot of people. You understand the concept of the Home Alone of It All, but in addition to that, could you give us your final thoughts and your rating for this movie?
So I'd say my final thoughts are like this movie was groundbreaking. I think, you know, it really pushed the envelope on what could be done in theater, or in theaters, in movies. And it's just an incredible, fun, completely whack job movie that has never really been touched ever since. I know I've mentioned Cool World, but Cool World just doesn't. It tried to hit what this hit, and it just didn't. Even though Brad Pitt was there and he looked really hot, but you know, I'm really excited that the rights have reverted back to the author, and that we might see a newer Who Framed Roger Rabbit, or rather Who Censored Roger Rabbit, and see how that turns out. All in all, I'd say, I don't know, this is a pretty solid movie for me. I'd give it 4 out of 5 sequins.
Wow. All right.
And the Home Alone of It All for me, there's kind of 2 moments. One, I think this is just a personal moment, but when we see the reveal of Jessica Rabbit, and she comes out slinking and singing "Why Don't You Do Right." That was just, that's an iconic moment. And I think a lot of people found their sexuality that day. And I think the actual like Home Alone of it all moment is when Valiant discovers his sense of humor and uses it in that big slapstick sequence to take out the weasels. I think that is like the pivotal moment in the film.
Excellent. Man. I think I'd like to add to the Home Alone of it all like explanation pivotal moment, because that's a really good way to put it. I think pivotal moment is another good way to put it. But thank you, B. Thank you for sitting with us. We got 3 hours out of this episode. Of course we did, but I really appreciate you dressing up for the occasion. And you're welcome back. You're welcome back here 1,000 times. So we'll talk to you in 4 weeks.
When we do
knows?
Tammy and the T-Rex or the Elvira movie, you can switch it. You can switch
Yeah,
it. I'm just kidding.
also,
no, I would like to see what you do for that. That would be. I don't even know what it's going to be.
I mean,
what's it going to be?
Elvira.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And then hopefully one day I'll get to do Elvira.
Okay, fine.
yeah.
All right. So
we'll
for
get you
me,
Elvira. Yeah.
is
How
it
about
for
you,
me now?
Steven?
For me, the Home Alone of it all. I mean, I have so many because there's so many moments in this movie that are my favorite moments. But I'm gonna say like the favorite moment is when the little latch opens up and like the big gorilla opens the door and he goes into the club and we get to see Daffy Duck and Donald Duck fighting with pianos. Like that made me so happy as a kid, and it still makes me happy every single time I watch this movie, where I'm like, this is exactly what this movie is. And it also kind of like exemplifies exactly the trouble this movie had between these two studios. And it's like such a cool, interesting piece of cinematic history where it's like, how did they do this? They're never going to do it again. Can they do it again? Maybe. They've been trying with Sony and Spider-Man and Marvel, and they even like Ready Player One, where they got like all these different, images of like Chucky and Jason and Master Chief, like all in one movie. It's like, it is doable, but it's hard. But this movie did it with like a little bit of art, like there's a little bit of artistic integrity going on as well, where they were forced to do it and they made things interesting. So that's probably it for me. But if I had to add like a caveat, also when Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse are falling, like that is like maybe my favorite moment of this entire movie, just to see Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse contemplate the death of a human, being like, oh, you could die, and Bugs being like, yeah, we could save him, or maybe we won't. How about that? Like, I like that so much. The movie itself, obviously it's a classic. It's also something that changed the way that cinema can be perceived in terms of digital effects, weird classical techniques that have been used 100 million times before in cinema being updated to a point that is trying to do something that they never tried to do before, but also accomplishing it. And then a bunch of people realizing like, we can never do that again because it was way too expensive, but we've also figured out 10 other ways that we can do exactly what we did for 100 times cheaper. And it led to the development of like how we know movies today, maybe for the worse in some directions and obviously for the better in a lot of other ones. Also, the story is great. The performances are great. I think that Eddie Valiant could not be played better by anybody else other than Bob Hoskins, even though we went through a list of other people that would be really interesting. I think that his performance is probably, when I think of him as an actor, this is one that pops up in my head. Even though there's a ton of other ones that I really like, this one is, top tier for me personally. If I had to give it a rating, however, I'd give it like a tune that you're like trying to put in the dip, but he keeps putting his arms out and he's like holding the edge of the dip barrel, and you're like hitting him and you're like, God damn it, Doom, I need help, Doom. And then he like punches you in the face, and he like goes through a wall, and he has like a perfect hole in the wall of his like body, and he gets away scot-free. That's my rating.
Yeah, that all tracks. It really does. My Home Alone this week should have been Toontown, but I found that sequence wasn't long enough. Obviously, it was probably the most money intensive scene to do, the most animation intensive scene to do, the sequence to do, I guess. But what I will say is I forgot to mention I forgot that the Daffy Donald situation exists. So I do appreciate that you reminded me of that, because that is a great Home Alone. But I think that the final sequence going from Toontown into the final battle was kind of my Home Alone of it all this week. As far as final thoughts go, like, you guys said it all. It's an excellent movie. It's an incredible movie. It's one of my favorite movies we've ever done on the show. And it's paramount that I mention that this month might be the highest like per capita ratings I've given movies ever, because I don't think anything was lower than a 4.5 out of 5. This movie does some things with film I've never seen before or after. The animation looks so crisp and complete for a movie of this era. And then when you, on top of that, have it being a movie where like human beings exist in a world with toons and toons exist in a world with humans, nobody's ever been able to really replicate that again. They've done other movies that is sort of the conceit or the gimmick, but I guess like Space Jam is the only other one to really do it. But even Space Jam feels like a cash grab.
No, don't say that about Space Jam.
This feels like a truly like we're doing it for the love of the game kind of movie.
It does. Yeah.
And there's no fucking way they could have made a sequel, because if they spent the same kind of money they spent on this movie for a sequel, they wouldn't have gotten the same results. You would have gotten something that does not live up to the original. So sometimes, and the 80s did it well, sometimes you don't make a sequel, or you make a sequel that is in the confines of the original, and they never really panned out. A trilogy of these things, the third one, it has a CGI Roger Rabbit, and it's a joke, but it does not land. Anyway, I digress. I give this movie a 5 out of 5.
I've been sucked into the grid. He's like,
yeah, exactly. It's just a Tron parody. Yeah. I give this movie a 5 out of 5. It's a hard 5 out of 5. It's a solid 5 out of 5. But I also give this movie a Marvel/DC style amalgam crossover combining Warner Brothers and Disney characters.
Oh, sorry.
And that's the end.
The way the cookie crumbles.
That was not what that was what I was going to say, but then I didn't. Listen, this is the end of the show. Everybody can go to bed now, and everybody can go to bed happy, because we ended up talking about Who Framed Roger Rabbit for 3 hours and 10 minutes, which is the perfect amount of time to talk about a movie when you're a part of the television program. Hey, did you see this one? Yeah. But before we get out of here, we have to talk about the things that we want to plug. So this is plugs.
All right, let me just plug this in right here and...
This week, and this week only, he survived, because cartoons live forever. But B, what do you have to promote this week? What do you got to plug?
I don't have anything specific that's going on, but I mean, you can follow me on all platforms. I am at Overlayer B. Basically anywhere there is social media, I'm there. Omnipotent, omnipresent, annoying. I'm annoying everywhere.
Did you turn
you want to see more cosplay and weird hot takes? follow me there. I have a couple of new little reel segments that I'm working on that are unhinged and stupid. Yeah, Overlayer B on all platforms.
Welby, thank you so much. We love you on this show. Steven, what do you got? What's cooking on your back burner, buddy?
My burners, they're all on. I'm cooking everything at the same time. I don't have a back burner right now. Everything is going crazy. I am the voice, the narrator, the characters of the Darth Theorist YouTube channel, as well as the Three-Eyed Theorist YouTube channel. If you don't subscribe, please do. We're doing well. We'd love to hear from you. We also have Discord servers for both of those. We'd like to see you guys on those. I'm working on something special. I think I could probably play this. I'm doing it like a blooper reel. Maybe can I play this? Maybe I should.
Play it.
All right. It's really dumb and embarrassing, but I'm going to play it anyway.
Men who find their center are sure to win, who bring the force of a great typhoon, the strength of a raging fire, and mysterious as the dark side of the moon.
Mysterious as the dark side of the moon.
Sneaky, Quaid. You think I wouldn't notice Mulan again?
I'm never gonna catch my breath.
Say goodbye to those who knew me.
Why was I a fool in school for cutting Jim?
This guy's got me scared to death.
Hope he doesn't see right through me. Now I really wish that I knew how to swim.
Be a man with
Theory. Which one is this? Westeros?
That's our theory. Westeros is a land filled with exciting stories and opportunities, and we love exploring them. If you'd like to join us on this if you'd like to join us to this
pause.
I may have had something to drink while recording this. Continue. If you'd like to join us on this journey to a galaxy far, far... Nope. If you'd like to join us on this journey... If you'd like to join us on this journey across the... What is it? If you'd like to join us on this journey across the 7 kingdoms and beyond, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
So that's the end of the blooper reel, I guess.
It's funny.
I mean, it is kind of funny, but you know, it's just a bunch of bullshit. But also, it's a fun channel, and we're gonna release those blooper reels at the end of the month for all of you who've subscribed and like us. But also, Stanland, we've released the final episode of the mini-series spin-offs, and people like them. I hope you guys like them too, but you should check them out. I would like to play the teaser for that as well. I know I've been doing this a lot, but here we go.
Coming to you from WSUS Raleigh, I'm Casey Bingham. As regular listeners of this feed know, we at Getting to the Bottom of It recently stumbled on what is no doubt the most important discovery in the entire history of broadcasting. I'm of course talking about the sound files we found in a Leapfrog children's digital recorder that once belonged to Earthman Stan Little.
From Rimberpole Media Conglomerates Incorporated, LLC, it's Zingia Now!
The files on this recorder represent an attempt at a homegrown Zingian podcasting movement.
Listeners of this show know that I'm taking a sabbatical from that position as I tally forth with a veritable bouillabaisse of media interests.
You say you are on sabbatical, but that is a falsehood. You are on administrative leave while the charges of financial wrongdoing against you wind their way through Zingia's revamped legal system.
Was it fate that brought these recordings to us? I only ask because fate is something of a theme in the next few episodes.
What exactly are you saying, Rumples?
I'm saying that gnomes live in underground chambers and tunnels.
How hard can it be to pull a sword out of soap?
Talking swords are the leading cause of autism in dryads.
I push a multi-level marketing scheme on anyone who would listen. Granted, none of them were dumb enough to sign on, but still.
But for now, let's sit back and enjoy our next selection in the Lost Podcast series, Zingia Now. Hosted by a certain middle-aged con man, or con elf, listeners of Stanland will surely recognize.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network. Sonar!
So yeah, that's on the Sonar Network. You can also find it in like any sort of like regular podcasting streaming services. I play a billion voices, and the last episode just went out. I do a pretty good Elon Musk impression. It's all right. It's pretty good. But yeah, it's fun. You guys should check it out. And I said I might have more news last week, but it's still kind of, I am going to be doing more with them with other stuff that is coming soon. And I will tell you all about it as soon as I can. But it's fun and interesting. And I think it's going to be, cool. It's going to be cool, guys. It's going to be cool.
Well, thank you. All of that is incredible. It all sounds great. I'd like to personally promote this podcast. It happens each and every week right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. It's called Hey, Did You See This One? It happens each and every week at 8 p.m. Eastern, except when it doesn't, but that's okay. We have a lot of great things coming up in December. We're doing a spooky, scary Christmas and a gift specifically to one of our very special guests. She's on the show right now, but we're not going to mention her name. You can tell by the smile who it might be.
You can tell by the smile that I know what it is.
Hey, I wanted to put a gift under the tree for one of our best guests, so that's what we're doing. But outside of that, you can find me as the announcer for Superkicked Wrestling here in Toronto. I'm not going to be part of the 10th anniversary show, unfortunately, because one of my friends is getting married that weekend. But Superkicked is doing a 10th anniversary show at Superkicked Studios, so look that up and check it out. We also have t-shirts. That's right. Shirts you can wear on your front or your back. You can get a shirt like this, Corporal Tunnel Syndrome, right on the front of or back of your shirt, or your mug. If you want that, you can get the Howie Mandela effect on the front or back of your mug. You can also get the Grimoire of Familiar Killers, which a couple of these people on this are a little bit obsolete, so maybe we get a new one coming in the new year. Also, the Eldritch Millennial. Great shirt. Looks like Steve if he was an octopus man. And speaking of octopus men, nope. Here is Killade from the Grimoire of Familiar Killers. And also, speaking of Tinkerbell, here's Twinkerbell.
My nickname in high school, everyone.
Hey, please buy the Twinkerbell shirt because it is a fan favorite. But at the same time, it is a favorite of mine. But that brings us to the end of the show. Here's the thing. Okay.
Here's the twain.
Here's the twain. Here's the twain. Oh, here's the twain. There's one question, okay, that needs to be asked each and every week. And B, could you please ask that to the people right now?
Hey, did you see this one?
Wait, your hair's black?
Steve and Jason, what's this I hear about you guys doing 208 episodes now of the podcast? Last week, Jason told me it was 207, and now it's 208. I can't believe it. Keep it up, guys. You're doing it.